Welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. My name is Pratyush and I'm the Business Development Manager at Wedist. Wedist is the authorized dealer of Digifort in Qatar. We are a new generation IT distribution company focusing on information technology, physical security system, networking and ICT. Today we are presenting a session on post-sales training presented by Mr. Satish, who is the Technical Support Manager at Digifort EMEA. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the chat window. We'll bring them up during the presentation and we will also have time for questions at the end. By the end of our time today, we hope you will feel more comfortable and confident about Digifort. Now, without further ado, we'll turn the time over to Mr. Satish.
And I believe most of them or everyone going to be a technical guy. There is no pre-sales guys, right, Pratyush?
Yes, Satish. Most of them are, but we have a few pre-sales as well. But mostly.
Okay, you wanna give the pre-sales just a brief. Okay, this mobile camera server, you will be requiring a one camera license. Depends on the number of mobile we're gonna use. If you're gonna use 2 or 3 mobile, then you will be requiring a 3 camera licenses. That is a mobile camera server. And the Digifort LPR, I believe most of them aware of it's a license plate recognition. We do using the ARH and the Carmen as a backend engine for processing the LPR for the Arabic plates. So Digifort LPR, while doing the training, I will give a brief on that one. Analytics, we do support a Digifort analytics, whether it's going to be in the edge analytics. Edge analytics is nothing but the processing, everything going to be happening in your camera side and just sending the feed to the Digifort. That is being already integrated. And the other thing, the Digifort itself is having their own engine, analytics engine for the people detection, counting people and crime detection, industrial equipments detection, and these are all the models which is already been integrated in the Digifort. So Cloud Bridge, we will be using this feature for European region for integrating with your Hikvision NVR. Nowadays, Hikvision NVR is coming with the cloud options, like their own DNS kind of thing. So that is what the Cloud Bridge is going to use. Then we go to the Digifort Insight. What exactly the Digifort Insight is? A Digifort Insight is nothing but you can record and monitor a particular server or a workstation or a PC in your premises. This will avoid if any user is messing with the system configuration, or if any incident is happening, anything is happening, you want to track, you want to record that whole server or the monitor, you can do it via the Digifort Insight. It will act like a recording of that screen recording, and also you can control the servers through the surveillance client as a team viewer thing. So for this one, you will be requiring a one camera license. That is, Then so Digifort evidence and the alarm monitor, I'm not going to talk about it. We'll skip for a minute. That's going to be a detailed session, but we will. If it requirement comes in on demand, we will initiate these two things. Live witness, again, I'm going to give a small brief. What is live witness? Consider you are doing a project in the airport. In the airport, in the pillars, what you can do is that airport management can generate a barcode and paste it in the pillar or any visible area. If any incident is happening, theft is happening, or fight is going on, so the common people who is walking that area, they can scan that barcode and send the stream to the control center of the airport with the GPS location along with the voice. So this feature is more lively and it will require a Google API licenses also. So that is what the Google API, that Digifort Live Witness. Yeah. So these are the models what we are having in our version.
Just a brief, If it doesn't take much time, you can.
No, it is not going to take much time. Okay, so now you understand the product structure. For designing a project, it's very, it's quite simple for you guys to do that. Go to the Digifort website, and from the support there, you can see the design tool. So just select the design tool. Here you can see the design tool, open it, and you can design by yourself what exactly your project demands. So let's wait for it. So this is the page. So let's say I'm going to design a new project. Let's say configuration is anything, Dubai Mall. So I'm going to give that camera is 150 cameras. So continuous recording, 180 days, H.264, and I'm going to use, let's say 2 megapixel, 12 FPS, 1.87. So if you select this one, so you will be getting all these ones, but you can ask, this is like all the vendors is doing the same. So what is, plus point of doing this one here? So additional to this capacity, we will be having that same BOQ, just copy and send it to your distributor. So it will be saved the time, and even you will be having an idea what is a server processor you will be requiring for these many cameras, and what is a surveillance client operating PC requirement for these many cameras. Yep. So this is how you can design your project and send it to the distri, and they can further modify if it is required, or they can simply give the details to you. So usually you guys will be doing this one, like Pratish?
Yes, Sadesh, yeah.
Okay, fine. So other than that, what we are having in the website, from the downloads, you can directly download the required setup. Yep. So other than this, if you are going to use a different cameras, let's say Equation camera, so you want to check whether that camera is compatible with the Digifort. So what you can do is go to the support on the integrated device. There you are having the filter 7.4, and the manufacturer, I'm going to use Equation, let's say. Equation. So Equation, I want only the camera which is capable enough for sending the edge LPR. So what I'm going to do is type, let it be camera and edge LPR. So for procuring for a project, so it will be easy for you to procure a proper, the model of the camera, which work seamlessly with the Digifort without, failing to get a proper result. So these are the LPR cameras, which is already been integrated with the Digifort. So there you can see. So these many cameras will be integrated along with the LPR with the metadata. So that's it. So what we can do is I'm going to jump to the presentation part, means not the sales presentation, just a architecture of the Digifort, how it's going to work. Then we'll straight away jump into the installation part. This is our slide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to directly go into the architecture. I believe most of them are well mastered in a different video management software, like big players like Milestone, Genetec, and even Axon Soft and SSM and all. So the architecture. So they will be using they have their own certain architecture. Digifort architecture is very simple. We don't rely on Active Directory. We don't rely on a Windows update. We don't rely on SQL installation and failover clustering. Our architecture is very simple. If you're having 100 cameras, you will be requiring one recording server, one failover server, if your authority demands to go for the failover server. So this is the architecture. So we are using that Firebird as a database and Delphi as a programming language. So for 100 cameras, one recording server, one failover server, and the surveillance client and the cameras will be connected to the, connected to the network. That is, if this recording server will, the configuration of all the cameras will be relying on the recording server database. If the recording server services or the server itself is going down, all the configurations will be jump into the failover server. Our failover action will be going to take 2 to 3 seconds. Even the failback going to be the same thing. Okay, so how the failover and the failback option work in the Digifort? Like unlike other video management software where they're using, take few minutes to do this failover action, but what we are strong enough to do this failover server, we are doing just a script actions, which I will be showing you doing the configuration part. Just a small script to activate or the deactivate cameras. That's it. If the server is going down, we're going to activate the certain number of cameras in the failover server for the recording. If the server is back online, we're going to deactivate those cameras and move all the video, all the SAN, the recorded data from the failover servers to the recording server and merge the data. So that is our architecture. And again, I'm going to highlight few things when you are installing the Digifort. We are not, doing any hidden charges for this, any version upgrade or the support for you. The lifetime support is free, and the version upgrade, now you are in 7.4. till 7.9, there is a free version upgrade for you. There is no hidden cost on this one. And also, for an example, if you're using the Hikvision camera, tomorrow you're going to change, the Hikvision camera is getting faulty, you're going to change with the Hanwha cameras. You are easy to go for any brand of camera. Just remove the Hikvision camera and put the Hanwha cameras and assign the same IP and configure to the Digifort. So Digifort is not MAC binder to any of your camera. So this is going to be the Digifort license is going to be allocated to the IP address of that particular camera. So that is how the architecture is. And also Digifort licensing part, we will be coming in a two-way of licensing. One is the hardware dongle. 90% of all our projects, we will be recommending all the system integrators, all our clients to go for the USB licensing scheme. Why we are asking our clients to go for the USB keys? If it is very simple for handling, if a server A is getting crashed, fortunately you do have the backup of the server A. So what you can do is just remove the hardware dongle and put it to the new server, restore the backup. That's it. So no need to contact back to the distributor or to the vendor with all your letterhead stating that the server is crashed. Hey, I want to revoke all the licenses. Not going to happen. Just remove it and plug it there. If you are not going for hardware license key, if you are going for the virtual environment with a virtual license, then we do have certain thumb rules that all the customer has to be followed in. The first thing is our licensing structure is a combination. It will be getting all the combination of the each and every components of your server. Let's say Ethernet card and the CPU and the RAM and all this one. If any changes is happening after we issuing the license on the virtual environment, for an example, if you're doing the NIC teaming, or if you're doing the Windows update, of course, all the components, their unique ID will be changing, then the license will be void. That time, you need to come back to the distributor and stating that this virtual environment license has been void, and you can revoke and issue it to the new key. So that is that, the challenge if you're issuing the license on the virtual environment. So that's all about the Digifort, overview of the Digifort versions and the structure. Here you can see, for the easy understanding, I'm going to copy and paste it on this desktop. Yep. Okay. Okay. So here you can see we technically call this one as a package, because this package, what are all the components which contains in the package? One is your administration client. Administration client is a place where you can do all the configuration, alarm configurations, events, and all the things going to be happening in the administration client. Second is a surveillance client, where you guys going to do the playback and your live and also some analytic process or a research process. Then the fourth is that database and also the plugin. I commonly, coming across all these kind of questions regarding this plugins. Let's say if the Hikvision is releasing a driver package today, so tomorrow they're going to use a different firmware. So does Digifort require a different driver package, or we need to install a separate driver package to get it copped with the Hikvision thing? In our case, all the plugins, once it is installed, it is installed. So we cannot, there will be no patch upgrade, something like that. What we can do is we will be giving you a nearer by models, which will be using the same firmware version or the OnWIF driver in the backend, which will be getting used after even you are upgrading to the latest software of the cameras. Okay. So now we'll begin with the installation. Just right click. And as we all, do that, run as an administrator. So this will extract all the each and every components from this package. Okay, so this is the installation wizard. Since we all get into these terms and agreement things. If you're all okay, just we are good to go. Okay. Here you need to enter your organization. It is not mandatory, but it is, you can give your end user or a client information as an organization while doing the installation part. So these are the packages which I was, defining during the installation process. The first is a server, which will be having the database. And the second is administration client. You all know that what is the purpose of this administration client. The plugin will be carrying all the driver packages. If you are installing this package or setup in the server, don't change anything, don't alter anything, just do as it is, follow the default one and done with the installation, finish the installation. But technically, if you're going to install in the workstation client, we strongly recommend to uninstall, uncheck this database and also the administration client. why we are forcing our system integrators or anyone to uncheck this one is the guys who is sitting in the control room. I'm not telling that they are good in their way, but they are not technical savvy as you guys be like that. So tomorrow, to avoid any these kind of complications, if someone is playing in the system, we strongly recommend to not install the database server and also the administration client in the workstation where the layman or the normal operator going to operate it. Okay, so as of now, we are good to go. Just continue the installation. That's it. So this will install that BioPass driver and camera driver, NVR driver. By default, it comes with a Microsoft Edge, because we all know that Windows operating system they are taking back that Internet Explorer and they are pushing more into the Microsoft Edge nowadays. Yeah. Okay, I think Mohammed is having some doubt. You have an inbuilt SQL. Mohammed, unfortunately, we are not using SQL in our application. We are using Firebird as a database. But if your project demands, if you already have an SQL for some other application, you want to do the integration with the Digifort, yes, we are very much open, and we did few integration with our database to the third-party SQL. That is possible. Okay, we are done with the installation part. That's it. So hardly we took 2 to 3 minutes for the Digifort installation along with the database and all those necessary plugins. So once it is done, finish it. By default, it comes with a certain set of languages. Based on your requirement, you can select the languages. So as of now, we're just going to keep as it is. So once the installation part is done, so you can see the 4 logos, not the logos, which is a shortcut which has been created as a result of the installation. So one is a language selector. I told you that the language selector, we do have a certain language. You can select based on it, the requirement. So the next is a service manager. Usually what we will do, if you want to kill a service, usually you will be going for Windows services, and from that you will be killing all the services. So Digifort, makes our life easy. To give a shortcut on the desktop, you can do it. This is common like all the video management software. Most of them is having the same thing. So now we'll go to the administration client. This is the client where we will be doing all the configuration. Technically, we can call it as a management server and the recording server together. So let me wipe all my configuration and start from the scratch. Okay, so this is how that administration client looks like after our first installation is completed or done. So what you can do is the very first task is we need to add a server. For an example, if you're having a 200 cameras, technically you will be requiring 2 servers. Just giving a classic example. So one will be the recording server 1 and second will be the recording server 2. So what you need to do is you need to install the Digifort the same way what we did in both the servers. But for the management purpose, you can add both the servers in the single administration client for the ease of access or ease of the management thing. So once it is done, right click or add server, or here you can see the plus. Hit the plus button. From the server type, you can see a lot of Digifort servers. The default one is a Digifort video management software that is selected as a Digifort. If you're using the analytics, you can select analytics. It goes to the same LPR, mobile camera live witness. So now we're going to focus on the VMS, select it at the Digifort. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this as a server 1. So the local IP of the machine, just give me a minute, let me just, okay, the local IP is 208. So you can add the server 1. Even consider if I'm having a second server, which is going to hold other 200 cameras. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the server 2. Server 2. So let me just search this. Okay, this is how you can sum up all your server, including your failover. So it is, this is given liberty for you guys to configure for an easy manner, all the things in a, in a proper way or in a easy way. So now let's focus on the server 1. I'm going to delete this one. So once it is done, expand the server. By default, it gone as the username and the password. By default, the user is admin. The password is none, means empty. I think I assigned the password before. Yeah. Fine. So once you logged in, this is how the console or the tree structure going to look like. The first thing what you need to make sure is whether you are having the valid license for adding the cameras or not. So go to the license part, and here you can see two options. One is a demo and the configure license. For your official site, or if your customer demand for the demo just for the testing, you need to go to the configure license, add, and you need to send this machine code to us. So based on this code, we will be generating a demo license and we will be providing it for your test. So this is the code I was defining during our presentation, for the license, official license part. So how we will be verifying the site is running on the official USB dongle or without the USB dongle. Okay. So here you can see, let me just copy this to clipboard. And here you can see this M key. M key stands for the machine key. So if it is there, if it is the machine, if the string is having the M key, technically it is called a demo license, demo key. So if it is going to be official license purchased and a dongle, instead of M key, you will be having the HLC key. So this is the difference between the official site and the demo site. So we will be requiring this code during, for an example, if you purchase a license of 100 cameras today, so tomorrow for some reason or your customer is going to upgrade your site with another 20 cameras. So for upgrading the license, what you can buy is you can simply buy the camera channels instead of buying the whole new server and install the software and buying the USB dongle. If the server is capable enough to handle 20 more cameras, we can simply buy the channels and add the license on it. So for that, we need to have the HLCK. You need to copy this one and send it to the distributors for the license upgrade. That's it. So this is how we can identify the site is running on the demo or it is on the official one. So now it is done. So for the training purpose, or if you want to test by yourself, we do have something called a demo license. Select the demo license. Here you can see the activate temporary license. Hit the button. So these options will give you the liberty of testing or giving an option for you guys to test the software for 4 hours for 8 cameras. And if you have an IO module, let's say Axis box or Moxa box, you can test for 1. These many channels and these many numbers you can test for 4 hours. Okay. So the very first part, the license is done. Okay, then what we can do is we can go for the camera part. So the camera, addition of the camera, that is the main thing. Once the camera, I'm not going to talk about this camera configuration and the initialization because you guys all are doing for ages now. So once a camera is configured and plug into the network, then of course we need to pull the stream into the Digifort. The first way of adding the camera is the manual addition. Then the second way of adding the camera, sorry, not the first way, let it make it as an auto. And the second is the manual. The third is the simplest way. What we always recommend to the customer is a duplication. Then the fourth, if you have an the backup of your camera as a CSV file, so you can export or import from this one. So let's go for that auto addition of the camera. Okay, so where you can see, just a minute, let me. Here you can see the option called find. Select the find and make sure your camera is enabled with these features. Universal plug and play and the on-wave is enabled. Once it is enabled in the camera side, give the initial range. So for me, my initial range is, let's say I'm start from the 10, start it. This is going to take a bit, the time because it is searching through the on-wave. And again, it is all depends on the network. If you're having a multiple VLAN and your inter-VLAN routing is stated properly, it will be coming as it is. If it is having the multiple hops, of course, it will take some time, to detect all these on-wave devices from the network. Okay, so these are the devices which I'm connected to my office. Okay, what I'm going to do is, let's select this Axis camera. Cushion camera, Axis, and I do have one more Axis. Okay, let's go for this one. I have one NVR. So NVR part, I will show it in the manual edition and what is the use of the NVR, how we can use NVR. So as of now, I'm going to add this 3 cameras automatically, add selected device. So the device name. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give state that static name as a training room. And let's say I'm going to give, okay, let's put it as training room cam. Okay, so the digit going to be 3 and the device name is admin. I'm going to give the password. So where these 3 cameras gonna record. So I need to define that path manually. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, okay, go to the F drive and here there's a training. Okay. Okay, so done. We are done with the camera addition. This is the way how we can add the camera automatically. So here you can see the name. It will be generated automatically. Training room cam 1. So same like that, you can do that camera addition. So once the camera addition is done, so you need to make sure the status of the camera, whether it is working or not. So just go to the status and check. From here, you can see the total number of camera added is 3, activated is 3, only 1 is working, 2 is not working. So from here, it is easy for you guys to do the troubleshooting why it is not working. So just double click the camera, do the ping test. Okay, it is pinging. Okay, let's go to the camera. What makes the issue? So go to any camera here. Whenever you added the camera, by default, 2 things you need to make sure, because I'm always getting a call from the local customers here stating that they are adding a camera, but the camera is not working with the Digifort. It is not compatible anymore, and these are the complaints usually commonly I'm getting from the customers. But the thing is, we always recommend the clients, whenever you added the camera, 2 basic steps you need to do in the Digifort set. The first thing is, next to the IP you can see a small arrow. Select that arrow and make sure whether that IP is pinging or not. Okay, seems to be good. The IP is pinging. Then the second step is, what you need to do is, in the left side you can see something called a streaming. Under that streaming you can see the media profiles. Whenever you added or configured the cameras in the Digifort, by default it is configuring 2 streams by default. One is a recording and one is for the live view. So select any one of it. And here you can see there is a message called unauthorized. Unauthorized means there is something wrong with the password. So what I'm going to do is, I need to make sure this access camera, yes, the password is wrong. Okay, root and the user password is, I believe the password is correct. So let's go here. Yep, there you go. So now we got all the streams here. So this is for the access camera. So access camera, I'm going to put as it is. I'm going to simulate this one in equation camera. It will be going to be easy for you. So equation, I'm going to change the password. Sorry, the admin. Let's go. Stream 1 will be there. So here you can see the preview. Here you can see the authentication is failed. Authentication is failed or unauthorized. Simply state that there is a problem in the username and the password. So what you can do is, go here, change the password, go for it. This is the first way. So we are getting the stream. So we are good to go with whatever be the configuration we done so far is correct. It is working fine without any issues. So what we need to do is, the second thing is, let me simulate some other thing. Let's go for this H265 or something. Okay, unfortunately, okay. And other issues, other troubleshoot parts, few customers will be coming back to me stating that we configured H265 in the camera. In the Digifort is nothing is working. So of course, you are configuring the stream with H265 in the Digifort, sorry, in the camera side. The same settings has to be matched in the Digifort side to get the stream to be pulled. In the camera side, if you're configuring H265, the compression has to be set the same thing here. So this is all the basic things you guys know that I'm just giving a troubleshooting idea, not going to take much time on that one, not going to drag more on this. So preview, all done. Just give me a minute. Let me inform the guys in office. They are just trying to pack something there. I'll ask them to keep the camera as it is. Just a minute. Okay, so we are done with the camera addition. So there you can see the status now, all good. So here you can see all the three is working and total FPS is receiving into the server and total bit rate is coming to the server. So this is how you can verify this thing, and that's it. So we are done with the auto addition of the cameras. I believe this is clear enough for us to proceed for the second manual way of additioning the camera. So is it clear? You have any concern? Just please type it in the notepad or the chat box. We can I will address it later. So now we'll go for the manual part. Manual is very simple. I'm going to add show you how this we're going to add the NVR. Okay, so from here you can see that add, delete, add, modified. What exactly the left portion and the right portion define. So this portion define, it is an what to tell, a grouping, subgroup. For an example, if the customer, the premises requires a first floor, ground floor, you can do that. Let me just put some first floor grouping, first floor. Yeah. So drag and drop all this camera to the first floor. Like the same way you can do this part. Okay. Sure. Okay. Fine. So this is how you can do the grouping. And the second thing is what you can do is there you can see the add. Next to the add, there is a drop down where you can see that camera, multi-channel cameras and the video server, NVR and the DVR. We already discussed on the camera part. Quickly, I'm just make it very fast. You can give the camera name, camera description, and you can select the model. If the model is not there, go for the on wave, that is what we always do. Give the camera IP username and the password and the recording directory. Make sure it is pinging. Make sure the profiles are loading. That's it. We are done with the camera addition. For the NVR, what is the point of we are adding that NVR? Why we are giving a leverage for you guys to add an NVR? In most of the cases, consider if your customer is already invested on the NVR at the site, but they don't want to go for an infrastructure like a SAN storage or a fiber switch or any SAN switch, high power, high processing server. They just want to use their existing infrastructure with the video management server, which is going to get approved by the local authority, or it is going to be not only for the local authority, if it is going to useful for their day-to-day purpose. As of now, only Digifort is a video management software which is natively integrated with a few manufacturers of the NVR, and not only receiving the live view, it will receive the H playback and also the H metadata from the equation and Dahua, most of the NVRs. So that is our key points in UAE. We are selling all the, that replacing this NVR side with this Digifort thing. So what you can do is go for this NVR, let's say equation. I'm just giving you an example. This is how you can add this equation. NVR, give an IP 192.168.150, let's say, username and the password. So based on this one, once the equation model or the NVR model is stated here, you need to go to the channels and activate how many channels this NVR is there. For an example, if it is an 8-channel NVR, you can give the name of this one. Let's say NVR. I'm going to give this 3, start from the 2. Okay, this is how that NVR going to happen. And the additional, the advantage of the NVR is we are not going to record in your SAN storage. All the recordings going to happen in your NVR side itself. So what Digifort will be doing is Digifort will be sitting as a middleware between your NVR and your client. So if the client demands for the, that playback or a recorded video from the NVR, they can pull it from. If they want to do it for the live view, they can do that. So for that, what you can do is the settings, you can continuously, instead of getting into the continuous recording, you can do the recording by schedule, and you can completely avoid do not record. So this is how once we added the NVR into the Digifort, we can exclude the recording, but it will give all the features. You can still enjoy all the features of the NVR. This is how the NVR will be getting added in the Digifort. Let me see whether I can import one NVR. I can show you 162. Okay, So this is the NVR which I'm already added in the other server. So I'm going to simply, okay, what I did is consider if you're having two servers. One server is having 120 cameras and the second server is having only 80 cameras. So you want a load balance between these two servers. So instead of configuring all the cameras again, or instead of doing automatic finding the cameras in the network, what you can do is you can simply import the cameras from one server to the other server. What you can do is just import server IP address, first server IP address, username and the password, and you can search. It will list all the configured cameras from that particular server and select it what exactly you want and import it. So this is the, this is the fourth last point what I was mentioning, but I just showed as it is, so we can. So let's say go for this NVS camera. So this is the NVS NVR. This is the OEM of the equation. So we configured the NVR. So we already added the channel. This is the channel 2. So let me make sure this is, yeah, fine. So here in this NVR, you can see I'm not recording it. So recording schedule, do not record. So it means it is not going to record on this particular machine. The recording going to happen in the NVR. And how I will achieve my goal to get the recorded data. So under that recording, there is something called a self-healing. You need to activate this one. So this self-healing is a failover. The self-healing gonna serve the two purpose. One is you can download the data from the NVR or the SD card. Technically, we call it as a camera recordings. And the second is a failover server. So that part I will explain in details when we are going to the each and every settings of the camera. So that's it. That is all about the auto addition, manual addition, and the import. The third easiest way of adding the camera is a duplication. So you are 100% sure that all my projects is having the same equation model of camera. Okay, so what you can do is you need to add one single camera. After that, once you've done, right click the camera, there is an option called duplicate. Duplicate, this is the easiest way and the fastest way of adding the camera. So duplicate, what it will be to usually do is just change the camera name and the IP address of the camera and the recording path of the camera. That's it. So no need to go to this directory and you need to create. It does not require anything. Duplicate, change the name, description, IP, and the recording directory. That's it. Press OK. So it will be automatically created. So the camera 3 we are already having. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the camera 4. Camera 4. Camera 4. It is on the F drive. You can see this F drive. So let's go to the F drive. As of now, we don't have the camera 3 folder in the F drive. So the moment, I believe I'll put a working camera IP. So I don't want to simulate with that one. Okay, the moment if I enabled it, here you can see the folder is automatically created. So the duplication is the easiest way of adding the camera. Yep. So that's all about the camera addition. So you guys have any questions to be answered, please don't hesitate, fine. So what we can do is we'll just jump into the next thing, the camera settings. So let's go quickly. General is the page where you can give all the camera details, the name, the description, and the IP address, and all the recording directory. All the things will be going to be in the general part. Okay. So the second is lens. Okay, depends on the installation of your camera. You can select the lens, what type of lens your camera is equipped with, the normal, panoramic, or fisheye. That's it. So the motion detection, Digifort is 100% comply with the motion recording. If your customer demands to go for the motion recording, there is an option you can enable it, the motion recording. And the audio, if your camera is having the two-way audio, built-in two-way audio, so you can enable it. You can hear and record the Digifort, audio from the camera in the Digifort, and also the operator who is sitting in the client PC, they can speak from the PC to the camera as a public address system. Two-way audio is possible in the Digifort. Then goes to the image filters. So image filters, I'm not going to cover much on that. So usually this is going to be happen in the camera side itself. So we'll just omit it. So the media profiles, I explained you, this is a default media profiles, what is going to be on the recording and what will be on the visualization. Again, You can create n number of profile based on your requirement. Consider I'm going to use the same camera for the LPR. So what I can do is I'm going to create a new profile called LPR. So what I'm going to do is for the LPR, we always recommend to use to 640 by 480 with a 12 FPS. So LPR doesn't require that many frames to process it. If you are giving the wider area with a higher resolution, of course, the LPR system going to take some time, consume some time, and it's going to process it good. So we strongly recommend to go for 640 by 480. So just keep it as an LPR. That's it. So this is a stream. We're going to use it for the LPR. And again, one more features what we are having is, okay, sorry for my stop. Rajesh was asking, I missed a part of recording directory. Okay, Rajesh, so what I was explaining here there is, so the, adding the camera through a duplication part. So if you make sure the camera is in the same model, go to the duplication and just select this name and the description of the camera. And what you can do is you can simply select the recording directory. That's it. No need to go to the recording directory and create a manual folder. Nothing. The manual operation doesn't require. So you can simply change the name. So once you change the name, by default, automatically it will create a folder in this one. Okay. So that is what I was explaining the recording directory, Rajesh. So no need for the manual operation, like go to the directory and we can create a, let's say, camera folder or directory, whatever be, nothing required. Just duplicate, change the name and description, and just let me just put it on a test for you. Test. I will be having it already. Okay, let's say text 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So once I change here, so there you can see the folder will be automatically created. So Digifort will be automatically creating the folders on it. So I believe it's clear now. So let's go back to that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this guy. Okay, let's go back here. Okay, where we stopped in the media profile. Yes, Rajesh. Recording directory is it what the store technically we call it as a storage mapping. Yeah. So whenever if you are using that, if you are mapping the SAN volumes into the in your server, technically you need to map your cameras and allocate it to that particular recording directory for the recording. That is what we are doing it. Okay, and what is the FPS for LPR, Shakir? Okay, FPS, you can keep it as 10 to 12 FPS. That will be enough. It depends on your site condition, Shakir. So usually we are having a site we are having a LPR site in Dubai Investment Park community where the camera is less than 2 meters. It is parked for this normal general road, like not a radar kind of thing, but it is a community monitoring. So there we are giving a VCA and a 6 FPS. It is capturing for the last few years without any issues. So FPS, it depends on the site condition. So we recommend 10 to 12 FPS. And again, your authority, they might have some certain FPS, so you need to follow them. And if you have 200 cameras, we have to do the same duplication for each cameras. Okay, good question. Syed, there is a catch for you. If you have a 200 cameras, so what you can do is as a part of planning your project, we will be sharing an Excel sheet to you. That Excel sheet will be having the name and the description and the camera IP address, and these few things will be there. Fill it and send it to us. We will convert the CSV file to the Digifort registry format and send it to you. Just stop the services and click the file. All your 200 cameras or 500 cameras will be restored in a single way. That is the easiest way what Digifort is affording to our client. We will make your life easy. And the second thing is, if you have 200 cameras, yes, you can do it in an automatic way. You can find it if the camera, all the 200 cameras is reachable. You can find it and you can do it as an automatic addition part. Okay. So while coming back to the topic, okay, live view. So media profiles, I just created one for LPR. And okay, Rajesh, the first thing is you need to map the SAN storage in your Windows operating system. So we have to configure the storage. Of course, yes, because Digifort requires a directory to make the cameras online and record. So the very first thing is you need to finish all the prerequisites, like you need to map the SAN storage into the Windows OS. Then you can map it. If the SAN storage is not getting mapped into your operating system, just use a C drive for the temporary purpose. So once the storage is getting back, you can move all the data and the directory to the SAN storage. That is the simplest way. Okay, then okay, coming back, I'm going to use one low resolution. So what I'm going to use is I'm going to use the same second stream preview. Okay. What exactly the low resolution going to be help in my case? Consider if you're having a let's say the bank project, you are having a multiple sites, remote site, 5 remote sites and 1 head office. So all the 5 sites has to be getting streamed and recorded in your, it might be recorded or your just a live view. Let's keep it on both the example. Let's say live and the recording together going to be happening in the headquarters. So what you can do is you need to enable a low resolution stream to reduce your bandwidth. So what exactly it will do is on demand, it is not going to affect any of your recording. First thing, your recording going to be always happen in the higher resolution. What this lower resolution will do is always the live going to be in the smaller resolution. Let's say 640 by 480 or VCA. And also just this going to be in play on your local site also. If your PC is not equipped with the GPU card or a high, GPU card or a high processor CPUs, so what you can do is if you're displaying 16 or 20 cameras in the PC, your CPU will go high because of the higher resolution. So in that case, technically we call it as a mosaic features. We will be using the lower resolution streams for the default live streams. When the operator is selecting that particular camera, it will be auto switching to the higher resolution. In that way, in your customer premises or your headquarters, we doesn't require a bigger bandwidth pipe. So usually it will be, utilizing the smaller bandwidth, smaller resolution. Your pipe is always a smaller. Whenever the customer is requesting something on demand, you can select it and it will switch to the higher resolution. So that is the configuration of the lower resolution. Okay, let's go to the recording, the next one. The recording, most of the customers, they will be recording continuous recording 24/7 and 365 on the higher resolution. We have some requirement from the other region, not from the GCC, where they will be recording the continuous, they will be on the continuous recording, but the continuous recording gonna be on the lower stream. Whenever a person or any movement is happening, that time the stream will be changed automatically from the lower to the higher one. But technically it is a continuous, but motion based continuous. So what you can do is in the recording, the media profile, you can select the lower one. On motion, you can change it to the higher one. So technically by default, it is recording on the lower one. So whenever if any motion or event is happening, it changes to the higher resolution. This way you can save some storage, but again, that is all depends on your local authority, whether they are allowing you to do that one, because this one changing the profile from lower to the higher, in some cases you will be losing some details in the scene. Yep. So it depends. And the goes to the live. So whenever always the lower will be there. If the customer is selecting the camera, it will be auto switching to the higher resolution. So this is the most important features. If you are asking me, I can tell to reduce the bandwidth of your CPU and also your network overflooded. Some cases, the network will be overflooded if it is not properly tuned. So this can be avoided by using this configuration. That's all about this live and the the recording things. Nope, we can go deeper into the recordings. This is where you can configure the recording type, motion or the continuous, and the number of days. Usually I'm not gonna talk about the buffer settings because you all know about it. We all know about it, that the pre and the post settings which gonna applies only on the motion recording. Okay, so that's it. So the self-healing part, this is the one which I was discussing, while trying to add the NVR thing. Okay, self-healing, we are activating this camera self-healing features. What exactly it is? This camera, if the camera is equipped with the SD card, or if the camera is doing the failover option. So we are just simply activating or telling the camera whenever if the main server is down, you do the recording or you do the job in your failover or the SD card or the NVR. But whenever if the master server is up online, please do the self-healing part. So this is the page where we are activating only the capabilities of the cameras. Okay. So now I'm going to use a failover server. Let it be. Keep as it is failover. So the metadata, we usually will be not using the metadata for the general video management software application. We're going to use only on the analytics part. So keep as it is. So I'm not going to talk much on this metadata, but just giving a brief. Metadata will be useful for your analytics feature, just an indexing. That's it. Archiving. Okay. Digifort is giving you an other option for do the archiving. Let's say if your site demands or if it's a bank project, they will be having the primary and the secondary storage. Primary storage will be your hot data, which is going to residing or your SAS tier or NL SAS tier pools. So you will be having a secondary storage with a tape library or RDX or these kind of things. So you can do the archiving. You can enable this feature from the primary storage. You can put all the data to the secondary storage and keep it for this many days for a future backup. But there is always a thumb rule. The recording directory and the archiving directory shouldn't be in the same path. You need to use a different volumes. If you're using the same send path, then you will be always facing an issue or latency issue or a video gap or the breaking record. The recording gap, recording break will be happening. So this is the archiving thing. So most of you knows because other VMS also supporting this. So I'm just giving an overview of that one. Right. Consider if you're having a different user. So you can give the permissions of this particular user for whether this user is applicable for the live or the playback or the audio or the PTC. So the user part, I will come, and explain more while we are discussing on the user area. So the PTC, if the camera is a PTC camera, you can configure the PTC presets and the patrols, everything in the Digifort. And of course, yes, you can, there is always an option, plan B, you can do it, or you can configure the same thing in the camera side and use it. Digifort will just pull those configured things from the camera and use it here. That's it. Input output. So this is also, I'm gonna give a small brief on that one. Consider you are having an LPR camera and also you do have a barrier, X brand of barrier, which gonna be trigger the open that gate, you know that one. So this camera dry contact or IO module or IO port is connected to the barrier. Whenever a certain added whitelist car is coming, it will automatically trigger the barrier to open it. So most of the cameras nowadays is equipped with the input output. If the camera is equipped with the input and output module in it, you don't need an extra IO license for this feature. Simply connect the camera and connect run a cable from the dry contact to the barrier. Just do the IO part, trigger that barrier whenever is the number. But again, you need to buy an additional module for the LPR. But the IO triggering, you don't need a separate license if the camera is equipped with IO. Simple as it is. Detect the car. If the car plate is matching in my database, open the barrier. So that is what it is. Not only for the barrier, even the access control, door opening as a facial recognition. The camera is capable enough. Why can't we use it? So you can go for it. And just a minute. Okay, Shakir, yes, Shakir, you can reduce the FPS. You can do that. There is an option. Yes. Okay, so now come back to this notification. So most of them, again, I will be receiving a call from most of the local guys or clients stating that in the live monitoring, the camera is not showing anything. It is throwing a black screen. So it is a problem in the Digifort or what it is. So technically, being a technical guys, we know that there should be a problem in the network, or the camera is not reachable or pinging in the network, or certain things will be there. So as a part of troubleshooting, as a part of identifying or notifying this to your operator or to your IT admin, there is a certain events which comes as as an inbuilt features of the Digifort without even procuring an additional license for this one. So the first thing is the communication. If this camera is not reachable in this network for so many seconds, let's say I'm going to put 20 seconds, because I rarely see 60 seconds for that network drop in all the sites in Dubai, in UAE, and even in Qatar also. I used to travel before. So because all our system integrator are capable enough to handle the network part very perfectly, but in some cases, mistakenly, there is a loop will be created in that network. Because of this loop, our camera, that communication drop is not consistent. It will be go on and off. Let's say 1 second or 2 seconds, 3 seconds will be there. So if you are keeping this time as 60 seconds, unfortunately, we will be not notifying anything to the operator or to the IT admin. So for this kind of STP loops and coming, maximum it will be taking for the 5 seconds or 10 seconds. Let's give the time of 10 seconds, depends on your requirement, and configure the event actions. Okay, by default, these are the event actions which comes along with the Digifort. So let me just I'm not going to run all this one. This features will be available in that website, but I'm going to give you that the very useful and the important things for you guys to configure it. The first thing is, if your authority or if your client is allowing you to send an email, use the internet on the server, you can send an email to your IT admin. You can send an email along with the camera image. For an example, if this camera is going down of the net, if it is not pinging, I can send an email with the attachment of the camera image, and also I can give that even playback. The link will be sent along with the email, along with that image. There you can do the playback, what time it happened. So this is the email. You can do it. You can send it to your IT admin. And the second thing is, you need to notify your operator who is sitting in this one. So operator, you can send an image. So this image will be sending it to the operator. The pop-up will be coming. Okay. So that again is, you can send a camera snapshot. And the most important thing is the sound thing. So by default, Digifort comes with a certain sound. Yeah. But if you want to use your own sound, you can record, let's say, you can alert your, for example, I give a classic example, like you are having a 2 or 3 control room. Let's say control room 1 is in the first floor. The guy who is sitting in the main door, it is, let's say, control room 2. The guy is not there around, but your CEO comes in, the number plate is not opening. So if this guy has to open the barricade manually for your MD or CEO to be done. So what you can do is, you can record it your own audio and give it to us. We will upload it. You can, once it is done, when the car is detected, you can just select a single button. It will, the operator who is sitting in that security gate getting notified. Please open the door, our boss is waiting. Whatever be the thing, it is totally customizable. Okay. Play a sound, and again, send an instant message to the operator. So you can send a pop-up message like in older days, not that old. We used to chat through our colleagues in our office through IP Messenger. I'm not sure how many of them knows about it. It's the same kind of scenario. So you can send a pop-up message to the operator and stating that, see, that if the camera is down, okay, camera is offline, kindly contact the system integrator and fix it immediately. So these are the messages you can trigger. So whenever, if the camera is going down, automatically, if the camera is not pinging for 20 seconds, automatically the message will pop up in the surveillance client. The operator can call. Even you can give your guy's number also. Call this guy. So whenever, if any incident is happening, the operator at any midnight, but sorry for that, midnight, your system integrator will be getting disturbance for this one, but you can do this. You can give it anything you want to be get notified. And virtual matrix, something called a video wall. I will send it. I will explain when it comes to the surveillance client. Okay. So this is one more features what I'm going to explain you guys, that is called a push notification. If the Digifort is installed in your mobile app, let's say if it is in iPhone or Android, anything, if your customer is allowed to use a dyne DNS or a static IP, if any event is happening, your CEO or MD will be getting the push notification, just notification of like how you are getting your bank messages or a text message, just a notification on their mobile, whatever be the mobile, wherever be. But this mobile application has to be configured with the static IP and do some certain port forwarding. I believe you guys knows that one. So that is, you can do that. And again, one more thing is preset. You are having a box camera near the security gate. One PTC camera is sitting on the top of that building. Okay. So some guys are coming and hitting the box camera. Let's say we can call it as a tampering detection is there. So whenever if this tampering is there, or this is something, in this case, we are doing the communication, but I'm giving a different tampering. Let's keep it as communication only. So the guy has to know why this camera is not communicating. So the presets has to be configured in the PTC camera. If this is not going to ping, automatically the PTC camera will focus into this box camera and see what is happening. And you can do the playback a certain time before what happened and all this kind of things. And even you can trigger if it is having that input output boxes, you can close the door, you can open the barrier, you can do this one and activate or deactivate objects. That is what our failover comes in. You can activate the camera or you can deactivate the cameras, and you can create a bookmark. That is the best thing. That is also one of the good options what I can see. Bookmark, what it will do is it will put a thumbnail or it will create a pointer on this particular recording. If tomorrow or 1 month later, if any guy is coming for the audit, so we doesn't know, because we human having blessed with memory loss. So what we can do is we can create a bookmark. If 1 month later, if a guy or a CID or police comes and looking for the details, there is a gap or there will be no recording will be there. So that time you cannot go for all your records and see why it is kept. So you can create a bookmark. So bookmark, you can easily search in the surveillance client and you can show this is the bookmark, this is the watermark, this is the pointer, this is what happened during the time. Even this is going to be a theft or stolen or fight, anything you can do it in bookmark. These are the thing. And the last but not the least is a send an HTTP request. For an example, if it is an oil industry, let's say Aramco or ADNOC or any other oil industry, gas industry. Okay, so this camera is connected with a wiper or any washer. So you can, if anything is happening, you can manually trigger the HTTP request. So all the vendors will be providing the HTTP commands to us. We will be enabling it and it will do the purpose. So that's it all about, all about this communication events. This is same goes to the recording. If your camera is not recording for certain amount of time, you can trigger an event, and this goes to the motion detection, audio level, and the manual events, device events. All do the same things. Okay. So I'm not going to talk about the privacy mask because we all know this and using these features for ages. So leave this privacy mask. And the main thing what I can tell you is an object links. What Digifort object links will do that. Let me just, let's say this is the camera number 2. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this camera number 1 icon, camera logo. I'm going to put it here, and the second camera. Okay, so 2 possible way of using this one. So just a minute. Okay, Syed, I'm going to come in that point. Just allow me like if 1 or 2 minutes, so I will show you how to do that part. Okay, so well, coming back to this object links, what exactly in object links? In the layman language, I can tell you that object link is nothing but a hyperlink. So usually we will be having the hyperlink in the Excel sheet or any in the website. If you select that one, it will automatically jump into the next object. The same technology, but we call it as an object link. So either we can use it in a 2 application. For an example, you can see our office. This is the office room number 1. So let's say if one of my colleague is doing something, I want to track that guy. So if he is leaving the room, instead of all the security guys sitting in the control room, they will be not having the big sheet or Excel sheet of all your camera list, and they will be searching this camera name manually and drag and drop, and all this manual operations going to take place, isn't it? For optimizing, for making their life easy or reducing the time, what you can do is consider if a guy is in the spot monitor, he is monitoring this camera, let's say camera number 1. So he is doing some guy is doing some activity. he need to go to the next camera instead of getting for that manual operation or something. So object links, just select this particular icon on the surveillance client. It will take you to the next camera, jumping between those cameras without much manual operation. This is not only with the camera, even you can go for the maps. I'm going to come in a few minutes. So map, you can do that. For an example, you want to see this camera in the map. So create an object link. So just select the map in the surveillance client. It will directly take you to the map part. Okay, and this is the first feature. The second feature is something called a virtual guarding. I'm not sure how many of us using in our particular region. In the night security patrol, there is always there is some certain area the guy has to be manually visit that premise and make sure nothing is happening, and he need to keep a record. So this is something we can use it as a virtual guarding. So instead of sending a guy directly to that particular premises, so what he can do from the surveillance client, he can directly jump by selecting this camera logo, go to the next camera, and he can do whatever be the analysis, and he can make a note of it. He can acknowledge it. So this is the camera, I checked it, all seems to be good. That is called a virtual guarding. So that is also going to be possible in the object links. Okay, that's it. So now come back to the Syed case. He was asking how to configure the camera like FPS and the resolution. Okay, Syed, if this camera is natively integrated with the Digifort, natively, underline my word, if it is natively integrated with the Digifort, there is something called a device settings. But unfortunately, this camera is not showing anything. Let's go for the next camera. If it is integrated natively, if you go to the device settings, there you can see all this option. Okay, video and the audio will be there. So you can play with the resolution, FPS, and the bitrate, all the things you can control it via Digifort itself. But again, better, most of the camera vendors, they are giving the tools for doing this part. So you can either use it for the Dahua tool or Equation tool, or if you're going to use a Pelco, you can use it. If it is not, yes, you can do it in the Digifort side. Go to the device settings and you can do that. So this is all about that each and every settings of the camera part. So I believe it's all clear for you. And one main thing I missed during that event configuration part. Let's go back to the events thing. Okay, consider if any crime is happening. So if it is not recording, let's take it as a communication issue. Okay, so if it is not communicating, so the guy who is sitting in the night shift, he is not noting down anything. He's just going whenever if duty is finished. The guy who is coming in the morning shift, so he is finding something suspicious, that there is a gap is there, and he want to know who did that, what happened, and all this one. There is something called a request operator acknowledgement. So what exactly it will do is, whenever if a pop-up is coming, throwing on the surveillance client, the operator, whoever be the user, is sitting in front of that particular PC, and during that time, they are forcefully acknowledge, means forcefully write their comments. So if this guy leaving in the night, tomorrow morning shift, if someone is coming, so he can easily go and check the audit logs. Who did the acknowledgement? What exactly is happening? So this is something called an acknowledgement process of the pop-up or any event or anything you can do it. So this is one of the important things we might require as as an inbuilt features in Digifort. That's it. So that's it all about this one. So this is all the settings, each and every settings of all the cameras. So I believe this is okay with you guys, and I can proceed further. So if you have, just text me in the chat. And I was expecting a question. As of now, I just showed the settings of only one camera. Consider if you're having 100 cameras in a single server. So how we will be doing it in a single shot? So what you need to do is just select any camera, and there is a command for doing that one. Control plus M, it will select the same model of the camera. Control plus A, it will select all the cameras. If all the camera is having the same model, what you can do, just select the Control A, right click. You can see all the options which I discussed, independently in a single camera. The same settings will be here, and you can do it in a single shot. So that's it all about the camera addition part. So we are done with the camera addition. So that's it. Okay. So, okay. Okay, Rahnas, the report part, I'm just gonna come into the logs. The reports you can get it in the logs, but I will discuss it later whenever we are going into that logs part. Okay, fine. So now we'll come back to the topic edge recording. So what exactly the edge recording will be doing? Edge recording is nothing but here in the camera, we are enabling the self-healing features where it's supposed to download the data. We are just enabling the features, whether it's going to be from the camera recordings or from the failover. So, okay, we are enabled. The camera is equipped, super equipped with this feature is ready to throw or send all the data. But where it's going to do that? So what you need to do is you need to go here and the edge recording, and you need to configure the temporary storage folder. Okay. So the temporary storage folder is a place where it will download all the data, whether it's going to be your failover server or it's going to be your camera recordings. So from here, it will download, and after that, it will merge into the main SAN storage. So this is the edge recording configuration. So that's it. These are the three primary things we usually do for most of our projects. We are done with this one. So now we'll go back to that next topic as an IO devices. I already explained what exactly the IO boxes will go to do that. If your camera is equipped with IO boxes, the barrier system or access control, you can connect the cable directly from the camera to those devices to make it controlled. But what if your camera is not equipped with that one? Simple as it is, you should go for a third-party IO devices. So these are the IO devices which has been already integrated with the Digifort. So usually we will be using Axis or Moxo boxes for the LPR, and for the perimeter things and all, we will be using fiber systems, something kind of, the IO box depends on the project requirement. So this is the same purpose what I showed in the camera IO boxes. That's it. And these are the models which has been already integrated with the camera. Okay, and these are the IO box. These are the models which has been already integrated. So based on your requirement, based on your application, you can opt for an IO box and you can use it. And Pratyush, I believe we need to have a small break if required.
Yeah, I think we can take like a 5 minutes break.
Yeah, if you're okay and if all the participants is okay for it,
yeah, we'll just have a 5 minutes break, everyone.
Yeah. Thank you, guys. Okay. So now come back to the topic again. So now we are done with the IO box. Okay. Alerts and events. This is where the place we will be configuring the email address if the customers required to do, send an email to our IT admin. For an example, I'm going to create my email address contact. Let's say description is anything you can put, email address. Yep. So that's it. This is how you can create an contacts. Technically, we call it as an email address. Then you can go to the groups. You can create a groups, for an example, IT security or IT manager based on the leverage or based on the tier level. So you can create a groups and you can put a user, the contacts which we created recently. Okay. So the global event is a place. It's already created. I didn't deleted the old ones. I'm just going to explain you. For an example, if this is the evacuation. So what I'm going to do is I'm creating a global event. If anything, any fire accident or anything is happening, so you can send a message to the operator, evacuate it. So what is the point of enabling the global event? Let's say I'm just giving you an example of the LPR again. We will be adding a number plate in our LPR database. Okay. So if this car plate is not captured for some other circumstance, let's say the dirt in the number plate, but due to the dirty plate, the camera is not detecting the plate, and because of the database is not checking the added whitelist details and opening the barrier. So in that case, there is some manual operations need to be required. So that case, you can configure a global event in the surveillance client. A single click, they can trigger the barrier manually. You can open it. So like this kind of use cases we can using in the global events. Wherever the global events, you can call from the name itself, you can it's very evident event which is calling globally in your environment, whether it's going to be the pop-up or a camera, sending an email or opening the barrier or sending a voice message, you can trigger it. That is a global events. And users, yes, you can create a certain number of users. Since it is an enterprise version, there is no limitation for the user creations. So user creations, go to the add, and here you can give the username and the password. There will be an option for you to, the manual Digifort user creation, or you can sync with the domain if you are having the domain in your place. From the LDAP, or you can export all, import or sync all the users from the Active Directory. So you can give the rights of that particular users, what all the operations they need to be used, and the same user on the Digifort surveillance client, what are all the options they need to use it. You can give an user. So once you created a user, let me just create one test user. Test the password. Okay. Sure. Okay. So once I created the user, what I need to do is I need to go to the cameras. This user, just creating the user, it will not do further operations, but for making the user to get it, control of the cameras, you need to give the grant rights to the user. So once a user is created, what you can do is go to the grant rights. And for this user, you can give the live view. For this test user, I just want only the live view. They are not allowed to do the playback. So fine, that's it. So this is how the user creation going to be happen, and give the rights to the particular users. Okay, so that same goes to the groups. So you can create a day security and night security based on your requirement. You can create a groups. Screen states. Excuse me. By default, these are the screen stills comes along with the Digifort. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you that you cannot delete this one. Okay. So how you can customize your own screen still? Go to the add, and here you can give the matrix dimension. Let's say I'm going to give 6. Create matrix 6 by 6. I can create 36 tiles, but I don't want it in a usual way. I want in a more fancy or user anything which is depends on me. So what I'm going to do is I'm creating my own screen styles. Here I will be putting that critical cameras. Rest I will be the small boxes I will be throwing in the normal cameras, which is not critical at all. So this is how you can customize your own screen still, and it will show up in the surveillance client whenever it is done. Okay. Okay, let's go to the maps. Maps for you can see the two maps. One is normal and one is operation maps. Operation map is more into the lively part, means you can directly get the GPS coordinates, and for that you need to buy a Google API license. So, and mostly in our region, even in UAE also, we are not allowed to use the internet on that particular server. So mostly operation maps I never used in any of the cases. But yes, there are few customers they are using that operation map, but not for common thing. So we are going for the maps. Map, you can upload the layout, your site layout, and you can drag and drop the camera. And map is also multi-tenant map. So you can create n number of layered maps. Let's say first floor, ground floor, and that multi-tenant map, you can do it. So what I'm going to do is test. I think test is already there. Let me just quickly have a look. Okay, test is already there. I'm deleting it. Test. So I'm going to, okay, add image from your computer. If you are having the layout, you can add it from the computer. If you don't have the layout, you can use the Google Maps. But again, this Google Maps is not a movable, lively map. So from this Google Map, you will be searching your area and crop the image and using that image. That's it. It is like a screenshot of the image and uploading it and do the camera part. Let's say I'm going to use this area. That's it. So it is cropped this image and use that image. That's it. Just a cropped image. So from here, I'm going to put this camera map. Okay, that's it. So you can write the text if you want, but by default, the name of the cameras will be pulled here. But if you want, you can customize it, and also the color. You can play with the color of the cameras, and also the field of view. Use field of view, so you can play with the direction where exactly the camera is located. If it is located like this, you can play with this. Yep. So let it be like this. This is how we can create a map. That's it. So once we created the map, we can give the user rights again if this map is allowed to this particular user. Okay, I give the user permissions. So that's it. Operation map is more like the same, but you need a Google API license for getting the GPS coordinates and all this lively images and all. Okay. So now we'll jump into that analytics part. Analytics, as I explained to you, during the start of the presentation, we do have a two, not we all, most of them is using a three analytics, let's say. One is from the camera itself or from the NVR itself, that is called the edge analytics. That is very much supported and natively integrated with the Digifort. If you can tell any brand, that brand is integrated with the Digifort, so you can integrate, you can use it, edge analytics features from the camera or from the NVR. That is the first thing. Then the second thing is the post analytics. What is post analytics? We are recording up a certain camera in SAN storage. So after few week or after few months, I need to find some, do some analytics. Let's say if a woman is carrying the green color handbag, I need to search. So what it will do is the post analytics, you can apply certain filters and you can get the result. That is possible. That is integrated with the Digifort. And the pre-analytics, something called live analytics, where we can fetch the live stream from the camera and we'll do the analytics. So that is very much integrated and tested and working in Digifort in most of the sites in UAE and many other regions. So let's say I'm just giving an example. Let's say if some guy is carrying a gun or knife in your premises, you can detect. That is called a crime module detection. And if it is an industrial area, if a guy is entering the site without the helmet or without the safety mask or safety jacket or safety shoe, you can trigger and you can notify that. That is called a PPE, industrial module. And the second thing is a fire and smoke. If it is an oil and gas industry, there is a smoke and fire, you can detect and send. Digifort is tested and it should give a notification on that one. And the general module, you can detect n number of objects. Let's say cow, sheep, or any animals or any humans, people or objects, computers, monitors, mouses, mobile phone. That is called object detection. That is already been integrated. And the fall detection is there. Let's say if an old age person is walking into the mall, so if he is suddenly getting collapsed or going down, falling down, so you can detect it and you can inform it to a IT or if to an operator or to the medical assistants. So that fallen detection is there, and the social distance is there, people counting is there. So these are the analytics which is already been integrated and tested with the Digifort. So that is all about the analytics. And we just go to the license plate recognition. If you want more into that analytics, please do let me know. Type in the chat box. I will try explain as much I can know, but let's see. Analytics, we'll come back to the LPR. Once the camera addition part is done, how we will be configuring the Digifort LPR. Digifort configuration LPR is very simple. Again, there are three possible way of doing the edge LPR. That LPR. The first is the edge LPR. Mostly the Hikvision cameras or Dahua cameras comes along with the ARH engine. So you can use the edge camera and simply buy the edge license from the Digifort. Along with the VMS license, just an edge license. No additional modules, no dongles, no Karman engine or library has to be purchased and installed it. Okay, that is the edge license. Then the second thing is the Digifort in-house LPR. Means you need to be install a Digifort library and the ARH library, and you need to buy an dongles and the license for that. Digifort will process that LPR and give the results to you. Then the third is the third-party LPR, which technically we will be not using in our region. That's going to be in the Europe region. Let's say Neural Labs and Weed is there, and Open LPR is there. That is all comes to the third-party edge LPR. Again, just for your information, that is also being integrated with the Digifort. Okay, so the configuration of the Digifort LPR is very simple. Once the camera is added, just add the button, give the name of that. Let's say I'm going to give that. Sorry for that. I'm going to give that name as gate one. Gate one. So which camera is responsible for the gate one capturing? Let me just put this guy. Camera 001. So here you can see the Digifort camera in ELP server on the external server. If I select the external server, here you can see the third-party integration. Traffic camera neural server, which I was explained a few minutes back. But technically, we're going to use a Digifort LPR engine. So you need to select as a Digifort LPR. And here, I'm not sure how many of you remember, I was creating a different profile for the LPR. So we always need to give this LPR lower profile for the LPR to make your CPU optimized and work without any issues. That's it. Add the name, description, and the camera, and what is the media profile. Then the processing network. Processing network is technically Digifort software, the piece of software which will be installed in a different machine. That is called an LPR server. We call it as, okay, let's say 50 cameras you are having. All the 50 cameras will be recording in your recording server, VMS server. So other than that, out of 50 cameras, you will be requiring a 5 LPR. So technically you will be having a different PC just for processing the LPR. So where this LPR software is installed, that is technically is a processing network. So that IP has to be, you need to mention here. So once you define the IP, once the services are running, you need to select which engine you want to use. Technically, we will be going for a common engine. So that's it. This is how the default configuration of the LPR be. That's what I'm underlining and I'm redefining it. This is a defined configuration of the LPR. Sorry, the default configuration of the LPR. This default configuration will give you 100% result if there is some certain guidelines or the guidelines. I believe your local authority also have that, the camera manufacturers will be out that. Additionally, we will be having some guidelines. If you are following, the cameras will be installed in a certain height and a certain angle, inclined angle. So the default configuration is more than enough for you guys to achieve that one. But on most cases, let's say if you're not having that default one, so what are the things, additional things you need to be doing? So I'm just giving you an edge NPR. So this is how let's see if, okay, this is not okay. Let's say what are the fine tunings you will be doing it if it comes to the worst case configurations. You can go here and here you can see the image and you can crop the image. Let me just pull any live camera for you, so it will be easy for you guys to understand how it's gonna be. Okay, so we put this one and the processing LPR. So what I'm gonna do is image, activate the reimage. By default, it's going to be 320 by 240. But if you want, you can put it a 640 by 480. That is a VGA resolution. This is not mandatory, but you can play with this one. Additional that you don't want to put the whole image for the capturing area. Okay. So let me just check. The camera will come now. Let me just check. This camera is online. 64 is online. I think LPR. Sorry for my lateness. Okay, let's go here. Let's go. Okay, configurations, image. Connecting if the camera image does not activate. Okay. Usually the camera will pop up here. Let me see why this is not giving. Might be my LPR server is going down or somewhere, but anyway, so the image will open up like this, and here you can crop a line and you can define the zone, which zone you want to configure that LPR. Okay, and unfortunately, I don't have that LPR license. That might be the reason. Let's see again. Okay, so let's go back again. Okay, so this is how the LPR configuration gonna be. After configuring this LPR, so you can define the area, you can image crop. So for this particular zone or region, if the car comes in, you can capture. And this is the activate region of interest. For this particular, I am interested only if the car plates or a number plate comes in this particular region, you can detect it. So these are the two things, or we usually do that for the fine tuning. And the attributes, we will be not using it. Attributes in the worst case, we will be using, let's say for an example, your alphabets of number plate. Let's say the Dubai, it is a 6 digit, I think. UAE, it is 6 or 5 digit. So even you can create a mask. So this is how this, you can define it. If the Bahrain or if the Saudi car comes in, it will not capture. It will only restricted to this character mask. But in all our cases, we need all the GCC plates. So just simply don't need to play on this one, but there is an option for you to activate character mask. And again, the one more option is surrounding cameras. Let's say if you're having the LPR camera, next to the LPR camera on an LPR pole, you have the normal bullet or the box camera. So you can configure the surrounding cameras to monitor what exactly is happening in the LPR camera. Usually we will be doing it here in UAE for the remote location, because the truck guys are simply hitting the LPR cameras and just running away. This kind of things are happening in most of the remote side. So you can enable the surrounding cameras, and whenever if anything is happening, the surrounding cameras will pop up and give you the notification. This is what is happening in the LPR. So that is a surrounding camera configuration. So that's it all about this LPR configuration. Is very straightforward and simple to use it. Yeah. And the fine tuning, of course, this is all this accuracy, and the fine tuning depends on your site situation and the camera height and a few parameters. We will be giving the guidelines to you. You need to follow that one. Okay. And again, come back to that options. Usually by default, whenever you are using the Digifort LPR, all the images will be getting saved in the database. Technically it will be there in the C drive, but going forward, if you guys are gonna record or save this data for a 180 days, so your database size will be getting increased. And also tomorrow, now you are in a version of 7.4. After 1 year or 1.5 years, if the version is 7.5, if you're upgrading to the 7.5, the old database will be not getting copied from the old version to the new version until or unless you are doing the manual restore. Okay, if you're doing the manual restore, yes, you are very much good to go for the save the image in the database. But we always ask our clients to put it that all the databases, all the captured images in the external SAN storage. And this is the size of it. You can use 640 by 480 if you want. That is not an issue. So you always bound to use the LPR data on the separate disk. That is for all our easy handling of your Windows operating system and the database, and also this metadata handling in the LPR. So this is the main thing you need to take into consideration. And again, if you go to the list, there you can create a blacklist and the whitelist based on your customer demands. Yeah, Syed was asking, can we change the database location? Yes, you can change it, Syed. That's what I was giving an option here. You can save this to the database. By default, it will be on the C drive. If you want to change the database from the C drive to the D drive, during the installation, I'm not sure you noticed or not, during the installation, if I select next, it is giving me the directory option. So that time itself, during the installation time itself, you can change it from any other drive. If it is a fiber channel SAN storage, you can put it on the D drive. The database by default, it will be on the C drive. During the installation, you can change the mode. If it is not, then at least change the image path to the disk. Okay. Fine. So the blacklist, whether you can create a whitelist or the blacklist, or technically we call it as allowed cars or not allowed cars, you can create it like this. Okay. So this is the list. And before that, we need to the first thing is configuration part is done. Then the second thing is you need to add the number plate. So this is how the number plate going to be happen. So let me just show my example. So number plate is alphabet C 13387 Satish. If in your case there is no alphabet, it's a simply number. So what you can do is, let's say, let me give an Abu Dhabi plate example. Abu Dhabi, there is no alphabet. It's just a character. So 16 is the character, 13387. So you need to put it something like that. And the observation, what car you are driving, anything you can put it like this. This is how you can add the plates. Imran, you are asking that what are the number plates are not detected. It will be if the number plates are not detected, technically it will be not in your database. If it is detected only, the number plate, the cropped image or the plate image will be saved in your database or in the saved images. If it is not detected, you cannot find it in the LPR records. You can find only in the normal playback. In the playback, during the 30 minutes or 40 minutes or 50 seconds, you can do and you can take the playback. But before that, that is not that good solution for us to simply talking like this, because the thing is, we are giving some solution. We need to identify why it is not detected. It might be related to your camera height, or it might be related why that camera plate is skipping from the capturing. So that are few parameters has to be there. We need to track it down and we need to make it work like that. And for answering to your question, if it is not detected, the plate image will be not there in the report. You can only find it in the playback. That's it. Fine. So we're coming back to the topic. So this is how we can add the plate. Once you add the plate, you can add the plate in the blacklist or the whitelist. So I'm going to add my plate in the blacklist. Blacklist. That's it. Okay, we're done with the configuration. We're done with the license plate. We're done with the list. Now we're going to do the event. What exactly the event is? If the plate is captured, if the Satish plate is captured, the barrier not supposed to open. For an example, if Pratyush plate is captured, the barrier has to be get open. So that is what the event is happening. Let's say if I'm going to create an event, this is what the event action is. So if we go to the event action, there you can see the activate IO module. So from here, these many outputs you can trigger. So it's very simple. Your camera will be connected to the barricade via the IO box or through the dry contact. After that, add the camera in the VMS, add the camera in the VMS, add the camera in the LPR configuration, create a license plate and create a list, trigger the event. Triggering the event, just go here, event action and trigger the output. What is output? Open the barricade. That's it. So this is how you can do the event action if it is going to be a blacklist or the whitelist one. Okay. So LPR categories, by default, it will be creating the categories, but if you want, you can create by your own. So this is my simple categories. By default, the latest version will be creating it, but you can create your own categories. Let's say RTA, buses, or school transports and all. Okay. So the integration, let's say I'm giving not going to drag more on this one, just a small classic example of, for an example, you are having your, let's say you are a car dealer, Toyota car dealer. So you are using an in-house SAP application for your number plate or the ticketing system. Okay, all the capture card is there. So what exactly we need to do is a Digifort will capture the number plate, and this captured number plate will send it to your internal SAP system or your internal SQL system, stating that this car has been booked for the services today or not. So your database will send a reply to the Digifort stating that, yes, this car has been booked for the appointment today. Kindly open the barrier. So this is how the integration, two-way integration. If you have your in-house database and if you want to integrate with the Digifort, yes, you can do that, provided you need to, our development team will be having some forms, SDK has to be taken in consideration. They will be doing it. And the zones, I'm not sure. We implemented this in many Saudi projects, but I'm sorry for that. I'm having very poor memory. I'm not sure in Qatar. In the zones, if you are having a parking zone, let's say 10 slots is available in the parking zone. So what you can do is you can do the zone creation for the in and out of the car, and it will give you the number of empty slots also. This is like a kind of parking management, but it is not purely a parking management. What it will do is if a car comes in, it will count as 1. If the car goes in, it will count as 0. Counting in and counting out. Based on that, it will calculate the available slots and give you that slots thing. So just go for an example. Let me just give that zone A. Zone A. So entrance camera, I'm going to this one as an entrance camera. This one is an exit camera, let's say. Exit cameras. And the processing, this is not going to change anything. process all license plate, and the option, this is the available slots. My parking slot is having 100. Okay. So if it is going to be 70% average accuracy, you need to be alert me. If it is going to be 90%, you need to alert me. So these are the events you can configure. If it is going to be the 60%, 60 minutes, you can trigger it. But this occupancy will exactly give you the parking management system. How many cars are inside, how many is going inside. It can be easily used or utilized for your parking. Not a big scale kind of parking, 100% parking management system, but you can get it some the same use of it. That's it about the license plate recognition. So you have any concern or you have any questions, please text me in the chat. Yes. Now we'll come back to the web pages. What exactly the web pages? Okay, Suresh was asking one question, moving camera from one server to another. And the second question, moving camera to different storage, including the old recording. Okay, for an example, I have two servers. This server IP is 208. If I'm having 159 in the same premises, but that server is overloaded with a few cameras. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the import, go to the remote copy, remote server. You need to type the, you need to input your first server IP address, username, and the password, search. So from here, you can see all the configured cameras from the server number 1. So let's say I'm going to select the Satish here. Okay, from this server 1, I'm going to import it here. So once it is done, see, this is how you can move the cameras between the server and to the other server. And for answering your second question, how to move the directory from X to Y. Let's say this camera is running on the F drive. For an example, if Satish is running on the D, let's say right click, recording directory, simply change this to the F drive. Okay, so now all is gone to the F drive. But the moment I change the drive letter, it will start recording from this moment to the F drive. It will not carrying the whole old data from the old drive to the new drive. So technically, there are two possible ways for you to get the old recording from the old drive. Means you can copy and paste, but technically it is gonna challenging part for you, because if it is a terabyte of data, it's going to take some time. So better keep the data as it is, and we have some option here. We have some option here. We will be managing the deactivated folders. So by default, if it is the 15 days of recording, it's there in your old directory. Okay, so the old directory depends on the other camera configuration. The data will be going first in and first out. But for the playback, you can do the offline playback. But usually we can do that copy paste method. Depends on your network and the storage speed of it. So this is okay, Suresh? Okay, fine. And also the copy paste, I'm going to tell you something, that copy paste, if you go for this camera, let's say if you go this camera, you can see two folders inside it. So you need to open each folder and Control A, copy, and you need to paste the same inside the same folder in the new directory. The same goes to here. Copy, Control A, and go to the new directory, go to the indices and paste it there. So this is how you're going to do that. Okay. Fine. Well, coming back to the web page. So what exactly the web page? If you are entering to the any government site or any site, there will be a dedicated TV on the wall, which will be displaying any news channel like an IPTV or something. So what we can do is we can use a Digifort as those kind of applications. So what I'm going to do is this for the Saudi guys. So let me just YouTube. The URL of the same. Okay. I created one web page and I'm created one test without the URL. So I will explain you what exactly the web page will do. For this one, I need to open the surveillance client. Just allow me only for showing this option to you. So what I'm going to do is, here you can see the web pages. I created two web pages for your behalf. So what it will do is I'm going to give that YouTube. So whenever if I drag and drop the YouTube, there you can see the web page inside the Digifort browser. Okay, so you can do whatever you want. You can completely run that news channel 24/7, provided that the system has to be have the internet. So without even closing in the Digifort console itself, you are consolidating or centralizing each and every components of your control group in a single software. That is the whole agenda or the idea of it. Okay. So this is the web page with the URL. I created a web page without URL. So what is the difference between these two is, without a URL, I'm getting an option for the search bar. With the URL, there is no search bar. So what exactly the difference is? For an example, if I'm using any one camera, let's say this NDS. Okay, if this camera goes in, if there is no image or if nothing is there, so the guy will be calling you, and during your call, if you are visiting the site, not closing the Digifort application, you can directly log into any of it. Let's say 192.168.164. I can log in directly to that. I can directly log into the camera web page, and you can do whatever be the troubleshooting, nothing to minimize or nothing to close anything. It is not only the camera. For an example, if you're having a biometric attendance system, so you want to monitor the attendance system, no need to buy a new PC and throwing that application and install the application in a new PC, and no need to do anything. No need to buy any procure new hardware. So what you can do is attendance system, the HTTP link, you can create as a web page and put it in the Digifort. There you can get it. So this is, I think we are having one facial recognition thing. Let me just show whether I can show you that web page just to you. Yeah, facial recognition is it. See, this is one of the FR software what we are using. Okay, FR is taking some time. Let's take it up. Yep. Okay, this is how you can make use of that Digifort. Digifort web pages. Let me just close this and we'll go back to the topic. If you have any doubts on this one, you can please do let me know through the chat box. And settings, usually what going to be the settings? You will be giving the camera name, the site name, and all this one. We always strongly recommend to do not change any ports here. TCP and the SSL port. By default, Digifort is keep communicating with 8600 as a TCP port and 8601 as an HTTP port. So don't not supposed to change this port until or unless if it is required. So the recordings, we always keep the recording as a 4%. So for what we are reserving this recording, you are using a 20 TB, let's say 20 TB lens, you are mapping into your Windows operating system. So consider if all the 100% of this 20 TB is getting utilized, after 3 months or 4 months, if you are accessing that particular LUN through your operating system, there will be some latency issue. It is because of the number of files getting increased. So for that, restricting that, so we can reserve 4% of that one. So this is the recording slab to play with the metadata handling. Yep. So master slave, if you are having an, let's say 500 cameras, you will be having a 5 recording servers and 1 failover server. So what you need to do is, for all these 6 servers, you need to create a multiple user. For an example, your authority needs a different user, let's say 10 users. So you need to create all the 10 user in all the 6 servers, and all the screen styles will be there, and the camera group will be there. So for creating all this in the 6 server, it's going to be a hectic, that going to be a time consuming part for you guys. So what we are offering is a master slave one. So what you can do is make one server as a master and create all the user and the camera groups, and the rest of the server you can put it as a slave. So what exactly it will do is, whenever the second, third, 4, 5, 6, this server is acting as a slave, these guys will be synchronizing these options from the master. For an example, the first one will be the user, second is a screen style, and third is the alert. So this is not at all related to your failover operations. Failover is completely a different subject, and master slave is completely a different subject. Master slave is makes your life easy just for creating the user and the camera groups, means that camera, that tree structure, first floor, second floor, and the directory grouping things. That is what this master slave will gonna do it. Okay. So I believe this master slave is clear enough. If you have anything, just put it on the chat box. Multicast, usually the multicast, what it will do, the multicast, we will be doing it in the camera side or in the network side, but Digifort is having an option for it. We never used it because since all of the network is equipped with the multicast nowadays, so leave that part to the network. Let the network will handle that one. We don't want to enforce or put a load on the VMS part. Okay, so backup. So the backup is a vital part on all your projects. Most of the clients will not configure the backup properly. Okay, so let me just show you how the backup gonna work. Let me initiate something for you guys. Put it this one on the backup, save settings. So I'm going to create, I'm taking the manual backup. So let's verify the backup is that F drive. Where is the backup? Okay, backup. Okay, backup is there. Since I mentioned during our, during the time of the presentation starting, I told you that we are using the Firebird and we are not relying any Active Directory and we are not relying any SQL thing. So our configuration is very simple and very user friendly, and it is not taking much time, and it is very light in, it's not heavy. It is all because all our configurations will be going to save in the registry of the Windows. I'm talking about the configuration, not the data. Data, of course, the data will be residing in your SAN storage. Our configuration will be sitting in the registry. So I initiated the backup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all this guy. Let's say we will do some test on this part. I'm going to delete all, and users, I'm going to delete this guy. Okay, we are done with all the user, and even if you want, I can delete the map and the global events. Let it be. Okay. Consider what we are simulating here. We are simulating a server crash. So consider if this server is getting crashed. So luckily I have a backup which is sitting on the SAN storage, not on the C drive. Okay. If it is in the C drive, if the system crashes, of course the system will goes down with this one. We cannot retrieve the backup. So what we can do is remove the USB dongle and connect the USB dongle. USB dongle means, what I'm saying is official license dongle. Remove that one and put it in the new server, install the Digifort software. And after that, what you can do is go to the service manager, stop the services. Okay. After stopping the services, you have that backup of it. Just double click the backup. Yeah, we are done with the backup. That's it. It is not complicated as you are doing for another video management application. Install the software, stop the services, run the backup. So once it is done, in the new server, you can log in. Okay, there will be, I'll activate the demo. There you can see whatever be the configurations which we deleted, it's everything is there. So Digifort backup and the restore is simple as it is. So there is nothing there. We don't need to, stop the entire services. The backup and the restore downtime gonna be in your production environment gonna be just a matter of 2 to 3 seconds maximum, or let's keep it as a 5 minutes. 5 minutes will be the maximum downtime required in a live site for migrating or doing the backup and the restore. So this is how the backup and the restore will work. Again, this is mandatory. Again, I'm telling you guys again, just configure the backup in that SAN storage. Don't put it on the C drive. Okay, then go to the database. Mostly in other application, what is the advantage which I see in the Digifort is the database maintenance is very simple and very powerful compared to the other one. So what exactly, if you feel any database is corrupted from the Windows side, any indexes or metadata is corrupted, so what you can do is we need to run that SQL clustering services and the node services. We need to do a lot of things. In Digifort, nothing. Don't bring the services down. Let the services run, let the production be happening. let the recording be happen. So what you need to do is go to the database, start it. That's it. This is how the database maintenance will be for Digifort. This is a basic level of database management. If you want a more additional level, contact us. We will be doing the database, but mostly for this, in this way, most of your indexing part or metadata will be getting rectified or repaired. So what exactly the other one, the purge old data search filters? Okay, if you are giving a SQL query, select star from these many tables. So that query in other databases, it will maintain a different table, a temporary table, and keep the records, the old data, even though it is not useful. Let's say after 30 days or 40 days, it will be like a cold data. So we don't want it. So we need to expel those data. So what we can do, just purge the old search records. This is going to be the same here. And also for your easy operation, select this one and do this part twice in a week. Monday and Friday, and recompute indexes, purge old search filters. So just do it twice in a week. That's it. So this is how the backup and the database will work. And go to the SMTP setting. This is the email configuration. This is how you can configure your SMTP server, port number, and all these details. Disk limit, it goes to the same like the recording. Recording, I'm receiving the 4%. But if you don't want to receive it here, go to the disk limit. And you can limit this one here. Let's say 7.5. I'm going to put 7.4. Same only. The recordings on the disk limit going to be the same. That is for our easy operation, smooth transactions. NAS. If you are using a NAS storage, you can use the NAS storage in Digifort, but strongly we recommend to go for the SAN storage, because we all know SAN is designed for the block level thing, and the NAS is designed for the file level sharing. So we strongly recommend to go for SAN storage, but it depends on the customer requirement. But we are compatible and work with the NAS units as well. SNMP, we do have an SNMP string, but mostly in all our sites, you guys will be using your own SNMP. Let's say PRTG and SolarWinds or KiwiLog softwares. So those are the softwares will pulling the network traps and sending it to our NMS. And again, mostly in most of the manufacturers, network manufacturers, they are coming with the NMS, network monitoring software or tool. You can use it because those products are designed for that. So we can utilize from them. Why can we? But there is an option for SNMP here. We can use it. This is how you can go for the Google Maps API for the live map, which I was defining during the maps and operation maps difference. Okay. So you can buy this key and you can put it there. And the protocols, this is something on the troubleshooting or the basic part. So as of now, we don't want to do that because we know that all the OnWIF is communicating with all the VMS. OnWIF is communicating with most of the video management software using the SOAP or digest or basic protocol. All comes in the SOAP only. So this is all, it is integrated. So you can play accordingly what its requirement. And the server events, even you can trigger the server events. If the CPU of the server is going 80%, you can send a pop-up to the operator and you can send a mail to the IT guy. So these are the, even if it is a RAM is going this much capacity, you can use it. You can send an alarm. So that is possible. Failover. So we'll just look into that failover options because I think in GCC, in UAE and also Qatar required a failover operation, if I'm not wrong. So let's say, consider this 208 is my recording server. I have a different server called a 159. Technically, we can call it as a failover. Okay. So what I'm going to do is the failover operation is very simple. No, from being a user perspective, you are not supposed to do anything. It is very simple. Just a small click. That's it. Maximum 1 or 2 clicks. Add, give the server, which server you want to monitor. Let me go for 159 is my first server. I want to monitor that one. So I'm going to give the first server IP address. Port is default. Don't change it. Username of password of the Digifort. So here you can see the failover action and the failback option. Failover action is the action which the main server means the recording server goes down. If the services is going down or the server itself going for a shutdown, we need to configure. If the servers are coming back online, then it is a fail back option. So failover, what you need to do is consider if this server is going down, I don't want to do anything. I simply want to activate or deactivate. Just go for the activate and just drag and drop the activate in from the list to the right side. Just open that activate or deactivate object. From here, you can see the cameras. Select all the cameras, let's say, into the activate. That's it. So once the main server is down, automatically the failover action will take place. If the fail back option, if the server is online, go back again, activate and deactivate. But this time we need to go to the deactivate objects. Go to the deactivate objects and select this one. That's it. Simple as it is. So we are done with the failover configuration. So, but provided you need to buy a failover license, and our distributors, this guy Wedist or Pratyush can help you on that part for the commercial and the license discussions and all. But from the configuration perspective, very simple as it is. But provided you need to be properly configured. Three items you need to, or three columns or three important features you need to take into the consideration. The first is the IP address of the server and the username of the Digifort administration client. Today I am using admin as a username and the password. Tomorrow I am going to change my password of the Digifort administration client. Change the password in the recording server. At the same time, you need to change and update the password here also. If it is not updated, your failover will not work. That is the first thing, IP and the password. Then the second thing is the failover action, activate and the deactivate. If you're doing only the activate, not the fail back deactivate, then of course 24/7 you will be having a copy, simultaneous recording will be going on your main server and the recording server. So this has to be taken into consideration, and you need to be follow this one. So that's it. Simple as it is, a failover configuration. There is no much complicated things. If all working fine, it should work. That's it. So we'll come back to the IP filters. There is an option for you to authorize IP, let's say a whitelist or the blacklist IP things. You have a 10 number of a PC, client PC, which is going to, okay, Syed, you were asking about the failover thing. Okay. Failover thing, I can tell you that at the same time, the data will be not merged from the failover server to the main server. What it will do is, during the failover time, it will be recording on the failover drive. The failback option, all the configurations will be there. Then the Digifort will make sure the primary server will start the recording. That is a first priority. So it will always works on the priority level. The first priority is moving the configuration from the failover to the recording server. Then the second priority is software will make sure all the cameras is working back online and it is started recording. Then the third thing is from the failover server, the data will start downloading it to the temporary folder of the recording server. That is a third priority. Fourth priority is it will check each and every blocks for the corruption. That is a fourth priority. Fifth priority is after download, after checking the blocks, it will start merging. It is not going to do it on the same time. All these 5 priority has to be checked in, and it's going to take some time. Then finally, it will merge into this failover data. But again, once the data will be downloading and merging in from the failover to the recording, you can still have the data which is sitting in the failover also. The failover data will be not completely moving or migrating from there to the recording server. So it will record, it will merge into the main data, and also the copy will be residing in the failover data. So this is how those. So this is going to take some time. It depends on your network speed. It depends on your storage, how the IOPS of the storage, how the disk read and write. So there are few parameters has to be there. So usually our checking process will take 45 minutes or roughly, it depends on the camera. That is for the safer side, I can tell you that. Yeah. That is for the Syed, answer to Syed, and Rajesh was asking that should be configured manually to get back the data from the failover server to the main server. Yes, that is what we are doing. You need to configure the edge recording here, Rajesh. So the data will be download, whenever the failback option is happening, then it will start it. If you want to manually do that, you can copy paste it, but again, you are not doing the pool mirror or the volume replication in between the storage or inside the same storage. It is not a pool mirroring or the volume copy. If you are using the same 2 USB drive in a single server, if you are copying the data between these 2 volume, it's going to take time. But consider if you're going to do the manual copying from the server to server, it's purely depends on your network load. So that is what. So you can do that. Okay, Isham was asking that we have a scenario where the camera feed need to be recorded simultaneously in 2 location head office. Do I need to? Yes, of course, Isham. You need to, in the 2 locations, you need to buy a Digifort base license. And for an example, you're having 20 cameras in your 2 site, let's say remote site and head office site, high availability, HQ site or high availability, whatever be. In these 2 locations or in the same site, you are having a 2 data center. Okay, I will give you a classic example. We have a biggest university in Abu Dhabi is Zayed University and the Sorbonne University. In Sorbonne University, they are having a 2 different data center in the same compound, same premises. One is a primary data center and the second is a disaster recovery. They're doing the high availability cluster thing. So they are doing the same thing. The same camera is simultaneously recording in both the data center, primary and the disaster recovery. For that, you need to purchase a license. Exactly. First data center need to have a 20 camera license, and the second, the disaster recovery should have a 20 camera license. It should be working. This is the way how it's going to be work. You can do it. Answer to your question. Okay, well, going back again. Failover I explained, IP filter I explained, and the server report, it's okay. This is not going to do anything. Server information, you can get all the things from here. And you can monitor the master slave, and you can monitor the failover, how it's going to be. You can do the server monitoring. Web server, what exactly it will do. For an example, we are having administration client and the surveillance client. Consider I want to open the same surveillance client in my web browser. So what I can do? I can simply type the IP. That's it. Okay, it is going for HTTP error, but this is how the web server will gonna work. Okay. So web server, the same surveillance client you can open in the browser, Internet Explorer. And the RTSP server usually, just a minute, guys. Sorry. Okay. RTSP server, we all know how the camera is communicating with all the video management software. From the camera, you will be requiring 2 ports. One is at HTTP port and one is RTSP port. HTTP is responsible for the connection or communication. RTSP port is responsible for the streams. The same goes to the Digifort. If you want the Digifort has to be integrated with any third-party analytics software, those guys will be always pulling the RTSP stream from the Digifort. So that is also integrated. The analytics which I mentioned for the crime detection and all, these guys are using the RTSP from the Digifort and doing the integration. So that is also possible. So that is RTSP settings. Don't play this one until or unless if it is recommended or required to do so. So the licenses I already told you, that is one. So someone asked about how to pull the reports. So this is the reports, system logs visualization. You can go for the system information. And if you want to go for the system errors, you can go for the system errors and it will give you the system error information. And if it is any email or notification, you can go for the email notifications. That's it. This is the system logs and audits. Like our Windows operating system, ACL kind of access control list, you can do that audit logs from the Digifort also. Who is doing what and what time and which user and all the audit logs, you can get it and you can export it for your future report also. Fine. I think that's it all about the administration client and the basic operation of the administration client, how you can add the camera and all this one. So what you can do is you can if any questions on this administration client, you can ask it in the chat. If it is not, Pratyush, we can go for a short 5 minutes break and start with the surveillance client. Okay. Yeah, Pratyush, I think we can start again, right?
Yeah, Satish, yes. Continue.
Okay, I'm going to share the screen. Let me quickly share it. Okay, we are back again. So we'll start where we are done with the administration client. Okay. And we'll now move to the surveillance client part. Okay, surveillance client, you can open it from the desktop. So by default, it's gonna be like how it's gonna be. Just shows. Okay. By default, the surveillance client, whenever you open the application, it's going to be look like that. It is like an empty without, not having anything. The first thing what you need to do is you need to add all your servers, including your failover servers, to make that live and the playback has to be, visible in this application. Go to the settings. From here, the bottom of the page, you can see a small triangle. Start. Go to the settings. From here, there is an option for the general settings. What are all the things has to be done? The control bar, how it gonna looks like. It's a left side or right side. The theme of the Digifort, you want a blue or the the orange color. So these are the general settings. You can play accordingly. So this one I'm not gonna just discuss more on that one, not wasting time. So let's go to the servers. So servers, this is the page where you can add all your servers. If you're having the failover server in your premises, you need to select this option. Use operation with failover. So this always has to be checked in. And go to the add, give the server name. Let's say go to the server 1. I'm going to use that server 208. Description, server 1, and the username and the password. That's it. So we are done with that server addition, and go to the live monitoring. And here also again, what are all the things has to be taken care or visible or displayed in the surveillance client. By default, it will become the settings going to be like keep image proportion on resize. I'm going to keep as it is, and I'm going to keep these settings as it is. I'm going to show you what is the difference of this one. Let's say press OK. So once you're done with the server, objects, monitors, and servers, this is the servers. So it will list all the added servers here. So white indicates the server is added, but technically it is not connected. Just select it twice. It will be in the green color, it means connected. So now go here. And what you can do is go to the auto tiles, or if you want predefined, you can define the predefined layout. Just drag and drop the cameras or double click the cameras. Okay, this is how you can put the live view. But again, just a minute. Okay, this is how you can put this. Okay. This is how you can display the live view and creating the layout. Let's say I'm going to create the 4x4 tile layout. Let's say I drag and drop the camera. Drag and drop the camera. What I'm going to do is here you can see that it's already been training. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete this view. I'm going to create the new view. So drag and drop those cameras. Live view. And here you can see the small green color right button or tick button. So what you can do is select this one, a new window will pop up. Here I'm going to give the name of my layout. So let's say I'm going to give this the first floor. So here, these are the options. It will be coming by default, but here the main settings, what I can tell you is called something called a public view. What is a public view? If I select that public view, if for an example, X user is connected to this operated client and creating the layout, the Y user connecting tomorrow the same PC with the different username and the permission with the Y user. So if I am unchecking this public view, this layout is only visible to the X user. The Y user cannot see the layout. If I put it on the public view, all the users can see the created layout. That's it. So press OK. So now you can see the layouts here. The views will be there. Okay. But if I go to the next one, okay. So what I'm going to do is see, this is a default one. If I go this one, I can see the views as a first floor and for Paul. If you go to that, I want to see the views, the one which I created in a multiple layout. Just go here. I cannot see any views. So in most of the clients here, they will be calling me and saying that there is a bug in the software. It is not giving the created view or the created layout. But technically what it will do is you are creating the layout in 2x2, means 4 tile scenario. Okay. So if you are changing the tiles, it is not showing the different layouts or different tiles view. So for getting it affected, and if you want to see all the created views, what you can do is you need to go to the settings. And here there is an option here, show views from selected screen styles only. So this option has to be unchecked. So once this option is unchecked, you can see all the created views here. See, you can see all the created views. So this is how you can create a view. Simple, put the live and created a view. Then the second thing is in the live, if you want to do the PTC option. I'm not sure which camera I selected for the lower to the higher resolution. Let me just check that camera. I'm not sure about it one. Okay. So the object links which we created in which camera, just a minute. Let me just check this one quickly. Okay. LR is not there. So okay, let's put it on LPR. LPR, when it is switch, it will be going the higher resolution. Okay. So let's go to the object links, that virtual guard. So what I'm going to do is just make it very fast and quick for you guys. Okay, and the maps test. Okay. So what we can do is I just enable this object link and also the lower. So by default, what you can see is that cropped image. Let's say the both right and left side of the images is a cropped one. This is because of the resizing issue. So what for this one, what you need to do is you need to go to the settings, live monitoring, and always you need to select this option, resize to fit. So this option has to be enabled always. So once it is enabled, drag and drop the cameras again. Now it's going to be on the bigger screen, but here you can see the resolution of the camera, 640 by 480. So whenever if I select it, automatically it will go to the higher resolution. So here you can see the 2560 into 1440. This is the resolution of the cameras. Okay. So this is how you can save the bandwidth if it is required to minimize the CPU load or anything. Just uncheck it. So next, what I'm going to do is, this is not a PTC camera, but again, I want to do the optical zooming. Let me just put it on a 4 screen. It is too small for you guys to have a look on it. Okay. Keep this one here. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do one more thing here. In the object links, what I'm going to do is in the web page, I'm going to use a test. Okay, let me put this arrow. Okay. So here you can see that arrow. Okay. So, okay, whatever you might be asking a question, if I put this arrow on the globe and the camera part, it's going to be affect the recording. It will be not affect the recording because this is just for the visualization. So even if I'm not hovering the mouse for the particular scene, it will be automatically getting vanished in a few certain seconds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a PTC option. Let's select this camera and do this PTC. This is an optical PTC where you can go and select this, what is happening at that particular scene. So that is the PTC. If this camera is not, let's say if this camera is not pinging, it is a black screen. I want you to, don't minimize or anything. I want you to go for the troubleshooting. Just select this arrow. It will take me to the page. That's it. You can go back and you can type it and do whatever you want. And again, if the customer wants to do that, for an example, if this camera I'm selected, I want to go to the next camera, let's say virtual guarding. So what I can do is here, I can see that camera logo, select that camera, automatically it will take you to the next camera. So this is the object link, what I was showing him before. And this is the NVR. You can see the difference between this one. These 3 cameras, which is the naming is training. It is having the red color. The one is the green color. So the red means it is recording, green means it is not recording locally. It means that is a NVR, the recording is happening in the NVR. Okay. So what you can do is for the playback, right click. So these are the predefined objects, or these are the predefined options which comes along with this camera. Okay, just right click here. You can see the instant review. Instant review means it will take 20 seconds back. So that instant review, you can configure it here. Go to the settings, playback. This is the instant review. So let me put it as 15 seconds or 20 seconds. So this will take you to the 20 seconds back recording. Okay. And media playback, single camera. If you want to play back the media single camera, you can go for it. 30 seconds, 1 minute, whatever be the timing, customized. The customized, you can go, if you select this one, here you can see this, the calendar. Technically, if it is having some data, it's going to be listed on the green color, because it's not having any data, because I just wiped it and started it just for you guys. So if it will be having the green one. I will show you on the other server as an example. So you can do that customized. Let's say I'm going for a 30 seconds or 12 hours ago video. So you can get it from like this. Okay. So again, right click, and edge media playback is something where you can getting the data or the playback directly from the NVR. That is a edge media playback. So here you can utilize this one. And the create bookmark, if any incident is happening, you can create a bookmark. For an example, I'm creating bookmark is office packing, let's say. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the camera, and I'm going to select that blue color, and observation is office packing. I created the bookmark. Okay, that's it. So what I'm going to do is tomorrow, I will be not in Digifort, or anything will happen tomorrow. So if the guys want to see what exactly happening during this time, so what you can do is here you can see the bookmarks. Under the bookmark, there is a small search button is there. Select this search, page will open, search it. So you can get the bookmarks. This is a bookmark, and here you can see the video, go for the playback. So from there, you can see what exactly is happening, office packing. So this is how you can do that, the pointer on that one, and you can make a note of it. That is a bookmark. And virtual matrix. Okay, virtual matrix is the best. You are having a multiple PCs. Let's say your ground floor, you are sitting in the main control room. And in the first floor or the second floor, your security manager is sitting. They're having one PC. So what you need to do is you are finding something suspicious in this camera. So after you are monitoring, you need to show this camera to your operator, or to your security manager. Just you need to show him this is the camera where the problem is happening. So how you can do that? So what you can do is that go to the settings. In Digifort, we do have something called a virtual matrix. You need to enable the virtual matrix. It will automatically show how many monitors it is connected. As of now, I'm connected only one monitor. Second monitor, there is no option for me to enter it. So first monitor, I'm entering the name as Satish training, let's say, or else security head. Okay, you have created this virtual matrix configuration in all the PCs in your network, first floor PC, second floor, ground floor, anywhere. So what you are doing is, after you are finding anything suspicious, select right click. Here you can see that virtual matrix. Virtual matrix, so it will list, I'm just clearing that virtual matrix. It will list all the monitor name, whatever be the monitor name it were giving. Let's say 1, 2, 3, or security head or IT head, whatever be it is giving. Just select this one. It will ask which layout you want to throw the camera. So I'm going to put it on full screen. After full screen, the camera will be coming here. There you can see who sent the object and what is the user, what is IP of that machine. Excuse me. Okay, this is how the virtual matrix will work. Not only the camera. For an example, you want to send this web page to your security manager. Just right click, show at virtual matrix. Who sent this one? It will be coming from 1.208 as an IP, admin as a user. So you can do anything you want in the same network, even if it is irregardless of the first floor, second floor, ground floor, irregardless of the object. Even you can trigger an object. Let's say I'm going to trigger a global event. So these are the events which I created. Okay. So what I'm going to do is let me just, okay. These are the global events, what I was saying. I'm not sure which one is activated with the sound. See, so you can do whatever you want from this machine as a virtual matrix or trigger the event. So this comes to that virtual matrix option. So now going back to the topic again, right click. So virtual matrix is done. I showed you the virtual matrix and the media profiles. By default, it is showing that the LPR. It will automatically, you can play with this virtual one. Okay, Syed was asking how to open multiple live view tabs. Okay, Syed, be precise to the question. You want to open the multiple live view in a single PC, which is connected to the single monitor, or the PC which will be connecting to the 2 or 3 monitors. What exactly it is? If you want to open the multiple live view tab, open that surveillance client multiple times. That's it. You cannot break the tiles. For an example, I'm opening, let's say, I'm opening 2 times an application. Okay, this surveillance claim I'm opening for the twice, and the first monitor will be having the view. Second monitor is empty. There is nothing is there. So what I can do is I can create this view. Go to the security yet. So this is how I can make a multiple view. So you can open n number of times for the surveillance client. Okay. Now go back to the topic again. PTC, I showed you the PTC. You can do the PTC again. Screenshot. If any incident is happening, you want to take the screenshot, select that screenshot. The new page will be pop up. There you can see the small save button. Save it. It will save the screenshot, whatever be the thing you are notifying there. Okay. Right click again. So motion detection is not going to work in this way. So motion detection, either you can configure in this motion detection, what exactly it will do is it will give you that green color notification. See, if any motion is happening, you can get the green notification. Unfortunately, we are not having anything. See, look at the number 54, 55. This number is getting green, 7, 8 something. So that is the motion detection notification. And here what I can see is that location on the map. So you can see that where this camera is located in the map. See, this is how you can, for an example, if the security guy is sitting and he is looking into this camera and he want to see which floor it is, where that area is. So what you can do, right click, location on map. So here you can see the red circle there. So from there you can go and hover the mouse, you can get the live view. From there, if you want, double click, it will open a page with the camera live view. So this is how the map will work. And that's it. We created with the live, and the map I showed you already. Map, this is how the map gonna be. You can just do that mapping part. It's a multi-tenant map. Either you can do the synoptic zoom or zoom in or zoom out, whatever you want. And analytics, we are not covered. LPR, unfortunately, we don't have that module. That's my web page I showed you. Operation map is not like that. Okay. So what I'm going to tell you again, the next portion is the playback, the retrieving of the playback. Right, like go for the single media single camera media playback and go for let's say 15 minutes ago. So this is going to be the normal playback. I'm not going to each and everything. So I'm going to show only 3 or 4 parameters in this playback option. The first thing is in the playback video, you can do the PTC option. This is the playback PTC option. You can do that. And the second thing is the motion search. If it is a 1 hour recording, even though if the camera is recording on the continuous recording, but if the police or CID comes or your MOI is coming for the site survey and they want to narrow down some search, instead of sitting and wasting 1 hour time, what you can do is select this camera and go only for the motion search. So it will give you only the motion search. Here you can see that the small window is getting loaded. Okay, here you can see the small red color. There is a motion outside. You can see one guy is walking. So other than that, there is no motion on this scenario. So let me go for 1 hour ago and search for the motion. 1 hour ago, I think these guys will be here, office guys. Okay, you can see that one. So it is easy up or fasten up your what to tell you, a search history and all this kind of things. Okay, this is the motion search. This is one of the good analysis or research module. What I can tell, this comes along with this one. And the second thing, what I wish to show you guys is a thumbnails. I'm not sure you might be heard in other softwares using a different name, but we call it as a thumbnail. What exactly it will do? Thumbnails, again the same scenario I will tell you. The police is coming and sitting in front of the operating room or operator PC. So they want to get a 1 hour or 24 hours data to narrow down a single person or any motion activity. So what you can do is go for this thumbnail option, and from here you can go to this 1 second. Means this Digifort is bisecting this 24 hours video into each and every frames. 1 by 1 frames or 1 second, it is dividing or segregating the portion. So from here, make a full screen. It is okay for me. Go to the next one. Go to the next one. Go to the next one. Here I can see the guys are standing here. So what I can do is just select this. Easy addressing, easy finding way of finding your objects or way of the scope, finding, fulfilling your scope of it. Then right click again. Then last options, what I'm going to show you is, let's go to the 5 minutes, media exporting. So media exporting, we do have the normal, these are the video formats what we are supporting here. Okay. So we are supporting the native format MP4 AVI. What exactly that we usually we usually recommend or strongly recommend our clients to go for the native resolution, native export or import the video, because the client is investing some amount for their project. They're investing some infrastructure, they're buying a software. Then what is the point of getting this simplest way of exporting the data without any details? Then what is the point of it? If you're going for the MP4 or AVI, it will export a video. It will gonna consume a lot of space. On top of it, it will normally play as a movie, watching like a movie without any details. So what is the point of investing all this infrastructure and getting this video without any information? So what we will be doing is, we always strongly recommend to go for the native information. Just export it as a native and put it as a desktop. And you can give the company name, and even you can put the description. And again, you can save this video clipping from the password protected thing. You can set a password 1 2 3 4 5. I'm setting a password. Press OK. So here there is the video is exporting here. Just wait for it. If any incident is happening, or if your CEO or a police CAD or MOI wants any data, so if you are exporting on AVI or MP4, copy it to the USB and give it to them. The first thing is they will watch like a movie. Then the second thing is, if the USB is lost or stolen, they can see the details video from anywhere, just inserting into your laptop, and they can see it, right? So if you're importing or if you're exporting in the native format, what exactly it will do? It's going to take some time. So I'm going to stop it. This is okay. So once export is done, it will ask to open whether you want to open the folder or not. Press S, the folder will open. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clear and close all the surveillance client. There is no surveillance client open. So what you can do is, you can copy this thing in the USB drive, pen drive, give it to your police or CID. Don't get panic of the USB getting lost or stolen. Right click, media. It comes along with the player 64. So what you can do is run the player 64. No need to install the Digifort software in the police laptop or police PC or CID PC. Just copy the whole file. Means this whole file you need to copy and give it to them. So once it is done, what it will do is just open the 64-bit player. It will ask for the password which you were giving. Consider if I forget the password, I'm just entering the wrong password, it will not open. So let me just open it again. 1 2 3 4 5. It will open, start normal. So what exactly it is? this plugins or this native format will give that higher officials or authority will have the liberty to use all the features which comes along with the software. No need to buy a software, no need to activate the license, no need to install the software on the client PC. But this one comes along with this, all this one. Here you can do the PTC, the exported video, you can do the PTC, you can do the motion search. Again, from here, you can do the thumbnails. Let's go for a 5 seconds thumbnails. You can do the thumbnails. And again, here you can do the exporting. If the police wants to export it in the MP4 and the AVA, you can go ahead for it. So this is how this player works along if you are exporting in the native. So we strongly recommend to go for the native. So that's it all about this one. And yeah, okay, Mohammed is asking that any dedicated player, okay, the player comes along with the surveillance client or the native format exporting, Mohammed. So even if you want to play offline, instead of right-clicking the camera, you can easily go there. You can right-click the camera and go for the playback. If you don't want it, select this start, means a red triangle. Here you can see the media player. It embedded with the software and make a use of it. I think that's it all about the surveillance client. More into that, so I'm not jumping into that metadata search, analytics search and all. So that is a different dry or a lengthier session going to be happen next time. So I believe we are done with it. So if you have any concerns, you can ask through the chat. And Pratyush, now the room is all yours, so you can check.
Yeah, we'll just wait for some time if anyone has any more queries.
Okay. Suresh Kumar is asking that multiple camera playback at the same time. Okay, Suresh. So what I'm going to do is I already created the first floor view. So this is a multiple cameras. Either I can right click from here to go for the multiple camera. If not, what I can do is from the created layout, I can right click from here. I can see the multiple camera playback. Let's say go for the 15 minutes ago. So all the cameras will be synchronized and start from the same time. Here you can see this one. Unfortunately, this NVS is the NVR. It is not recording locally. So that is why it is not giving the data. Rest, you can see all this multiple cameras playback. Anything has to be discussed? Yeah, okay. I think Sanjay was asking for that configuration manual. Yes, definitely. I will share all the dump file or DUMS manual to this our distributor Pratyush, so he can share all the details to you along with the certification link. Yes, Pratyush.
Yeah. Yes. I think if there is no more questions, I think Satish, we can wind up, right?
Yeah, we can wind it up if it is.
There is more questions, I think.
Monitoring over camera offline. Okay, that is, you will be getting it from the status bar here, Mr. Suresh. So here you can see that number of cameras is working and number of cameras is recording, writing to the disk, and what is the FPS. You can see all the details from here. So this is what, if you are looking, then yes, this is what it is. And for the server performance, you can go to the server information from here. There you can see the disk usage and the monitoring and all this one from here. Okay, Mohammed is asking that is there any type of evidence locker available for storing backup, etc. Okay, there are two possibilities for that, Mohammed. Either if the media what you are using in the storage, that nowadays the storage is coming with an enable or encrypted, that lock will be there, so you can make a use of it. If it is not, of course, as Digifort is giving an option for you to provide that or else protect the recording without deletion. There is a possibility for it. You can lock that for a certain number of days. You cannot delete the record, delete the data. You can do that. That is answering to your question. And do cameras take sync time from server? Okay, Syed, that is a bit into a more technical thing. If your server is an NTP server, yes, all the cameras and all the softwares, all the components will sync the time from the server. But unfortunately, Windows Server, I don't think so. It will sync the time properly. So for the time synchronization, you need to use a third-party NTP software for the time synchronization. There are a lot of softwares which is available for the NTP, so you can do that. Okay, Mohammed is asking that please show the way to take out status report for all cameras. Status report means from here only you can get it, Mohammed. You can export it here. There is an option for the export. You can just type that state, let's say test or anything. So you can export it from here. So from this is status, and even this is from the status page, you can export it. And even if you want, you can go for the system information and export it from here if it is required. And the audit logs. So from here, you can do that. So status, I already exported here. Not sure where I exported. This is how you can export. Let me just go back again and export it. It might go to the export folder. Okay, LPR test. So here it is. Control C. So there you are having this one. Unfortunately, I don't think so. I have an Excel. Let's see. So this is how you can do that. Daily camera status report. Yes, you can do that, Mr. Mohammed. The same way you can export it. You can enable that. You can send an email to your IT guy. You can trigger and pop up. You can configure it. Yes, it is possible. And Prakash is asking where we can get this training recorded video for your future. That part, our Pratyush can share it with you, Prakash. So he will help you on that part. And Rahna's really thank you. Any possibility if we can get automated daily camera status report where we don't have to. Okay, Mohammed, for this automated camera status report, yes, there is a possible way. You can send an email. I will drop an email to Pratyush or direct to you so that you can get it from them directly. That is possible. Any other question, guys? And one more thing, I wish to tell something. There is one more troubleshooting where you always need to make a note of it here. What you can do is in the status bar there, you can see the highest recording buffer. Okay. This highest recording buffer always need to be maintained in 0 or 1. If it is going beyond the 5 seconds, then there is a problem in the IOPS of the storage, right? Then the Digifort services might fluctuate it. So this part always we need to be maintained at 0 and 1. If it is not, then suddenly go to the storage part, or you can track the same from your Windows Event Viewer. Event Viewer, you will be having a NTFS or disk or file system related error. So we need to fix it as early as possible. So that part I forgot to tell you. So this has to be taken in consideration. Yeah, Pratyush.
Yeah, are we expecting more questions from anyone?
Okay, I think we can wind up the session. Okay, Rajesh is saying that how to sync the time of camera. That's what I said, Rajesh. Either you need to have an NTP server. Digifort is not an NTP server. It's a video management software where you can, it will not provide the NTP things. So what you can do is you can use the Windows time synchronization, Windows IP, or you can use a different NTP software. So that NTP software, I'll show you something. This is the default NTP software. Most of the video management software or most of the guys are using it. So you can make a use of it. Let me type see here. So this is the NTP software. This is a free software. This software, you can install it in any of your server. And once you install this NTP software in the server number 1, so the server number 1 will be the master clock or the master NTP server. The server number 1 IP has to be manually configured in all your cameras and all your servers and all your workstation for the time sync. So even this is the same NTP, even the any other VMS will not provide that NTP thing. So you need to go for a third-party application. even the Milestone, Genetech, all the big players, you need to go for it. So just do the VMS part. That's it. So this is what the answer to your question. Fine, then I think what we can do is we'll wind up the session. So if anyone has any other questions, please don't hesitate to reach us back via email. And we were happy to help you on that part. I think I'll share the examination, the certification links to you, Pratish, so you can circulate among them. Okay.
Yes. Satish, thank you so much for the session, and thank you all for joining us. And hope it was a very informative session to all of you. And we'll, as informed earlier, we shall be sharing the link for the test. You may take it anytime. And once you finish the test successfully, you shall be receiving a certification from Digifort. And should you have any more questions, you may reach out to us. I'm leaving our contact details in the chat box. You may reach out to us either by email or by phone number. Okay, thank you all.